My fellow geeks, welcome to the most exciting episode of the year. It's the Geek Heart Games Game of the Year Spectacular. We've got champagne, we've got confetti, we've got 24-karat gold trophies, we've got what's that, Jerry? What? You didn't buy the you didn't buy any of it? We don't have any? Cody, we've got to talk to Jerry about his responsibilities. This is not working out.
He was a little upset after last week when we accused him of opening our mail.
Well, to be fair, we've never actually paid him, so we'll think about that. Basically, all we've got is a bunch of talking about video games, which is what we're great at, and also some snazzy suit jackets, because we dressed up for the occasion. Yeah, we're looking good.
What about a sundial? The Hercules reference.
Okay, I did not get that. So,
the greatest Disney movie of all time, Hercules. You
don't know if I've seen
Moving
it.
on.
It's fine.
Moving
on. Fine. To get things back on track, I am Sam Suvak alongside Cody Tetrick. Hello, Cody.
Hello, Sam. How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm excited for our Game of the Year episode. I'm also excited to be wearing this suit jacket because it was pretty cold in my bedroom, and now I'm going to stay nice and warm. So, good call on that. So.
Yeah, good job. Good job, us.
Yeah. So, do you want to do just like a little quick catch-up on the holidays? Because I hear you got some good stuff for Christmas.
Yeah, so recording this the Friday after Christmas. There's a cat.
There's the cat.
Put it around in the background. So my geekly haul, as we'll call it, was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the Spire Reignited trilogy. One game that we'll see what happens, a Fallout 76,
No.
and
Okay, continue.
a Nintendo Switch Pro controller,
Oh, nice.
which I haven't used yet, but I'm excited to give it a shot.
Now, if we'll recall, I will recall that you were telling me what you'd asked for Christmas, and your mom had come back to you about this Fallout 76, or I guess did she talk to your brother about it? Because
She talked to my brother about it.
She talked to Chad, because She was like, I read some really bad reviews about this Fallout 76, and she did not want to get you a crappy game. Did you talk to her? Did you find out why she, in fact, went ahead and got it for you?
I did not, because then
you were just happy.
Found out my brother told me. Yeah.
Oh, so I hope she doesn't listen to this, because
she doesn't.
all right, that's cool.
But yeah.
Let me just share this. I didn't get any games, but my mom got me this little Mario plushie. Well, he's not little.
Pretty cool.
I think his head is as big as my head, if not bigger. I don't know. He's pretty cool.
Can you just a little bit closer, just so we can judge
the head size?
Heads?
I mean, He's got the hat on, so it's hard to tell.
He's got a little bit more girth on you, if you know what I'm saying.
That's what she said?
Sure.
I don't know.
It's a real rude thing of her to tell you.
Well, I never said she was nice.
Good point.
Let me put Mario back here. So yeah. So we had some pretty good geekiness for Christmas.
Yeah.
But that's over. And now it's time to talk about the game of the year.
It is.
But before we get to, here's what's going to happen. We both have our top 10 lists of our top 10 favorite games of the year, culminating in number 1, which will be our ultimate game of the year. But in addition to that, we've got some just special categories for things that we want to call out. And so we'll be going through those first, and then we'll get to our top 10 lists. So first off, in our categories, Cody, can you tell me, from video game characters in games that were released in 2018, who would you like to have with you in a bar fight?
Now, Sam, I'm a smart man. I don't drink, so I don't go to bars. But
There's other things to do at bars besides drink.
okay, good point.
Okay, although mostly what I'm thinking of is like a dance club / bar. Because I mean,
okay.
You could go out somewhere where there's drinking to do dancing, and then a fight could break out. So
I'm a white man, so I don't dance. But if I was going to go dance, and some other patron ran into me and wanted to fight me, I think I'd have to bring my boy Kratos to back me up. Because no one is going to walk up to me and be like, "Sir, I would like to fight you," when a 7-foot-tall god of war is standing behind me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because your strategy is to just avoid the fight completely by having him intimidate people. See, I was been considering Kratos, but I'm like, he would probably just kill people if he got into a fight. He'd be like, whatever, you're dead, you're out of here. But I like your idea about just avoiding the fight completely, because nobody wants to pick a fight with Kratos. So
you just look at him and be like, boy, you don't want to do that. So
I'm kind of imagining that at a gay club, and like whoever was trying to pick a fight is like, "Oh, okay, sir, whatever you say." Yeah. You know. So
maybe they would enjoy that.
They would.
My strategy would be not worth anything.
No fighting at all that night. It'd be great. Okay, so for my pick, I was going with Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because, I mean, you know, she's going to be good in a fight. And then just based on the game, you know, she was friends with that young girl. And so she was kind of protective and motherly of her. And so I'm thinking, like, me being a small person who fits into children's clothes, like, she'll have a protective instinct over me. And so she'll, like, want to take care of me and make sure I don't get hurt in a bar fight. Because, like, I'm not fighting. I'm just going to like hide under a table or try to get to safety or something. And so she's going to have to take care of it and just protect me. So I thought that was, you know, a pretty good choice for that.
Smart choice.
So,
Very smart choice.
I think we both had really good choices. So, yeah.
I feel like no matter what, no one's fucking with us in a bar fight. Like,
yeah.
Kratos and Cassandra.
Yeah.
Would kick some ass.
My God. We're going to go out on a night partying with just Kratos and Cassandra, and it would be awesome. So we'll teach you how to dance. We'll teach you and Kratos how to dance, because I don't think he's a big dancer either, but we'll try.
Yeah, that's not gonna go where I'm at. Then. Someone's getting an axe to the chest.
I don't think he would do that. I don't know. I think it would be fine. We'll work it out. We'll work out the details later. So.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to tell us our next category?
I believe we are starting with favorite character. So, my favorite character from video games in 2018 was Arthur Morgan. Because, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in another category later, I think the story arc that character goes on is probably one of the best in video games for a very long time. I had a friend, she started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was kind of like, you should know, it's not really like a video game. It's more of like an experience where you are playing a cowboy, and that's what the game wants you to do, is play a cowboy. But like the story of Arthur makes that experience really good because of all the stuff he does. Because at times he is a bad person, but as the story goes on, you kind of see that character change. And ultimately what happens in the end with him is this like heartbreaking but beautiful story that keeps you on the edge of your seat till the very end, because you never know what's going to happen, and the choices that you make in the game really define who Arthur is in the end. And like it just left me like with like this guttural punch to the heart, but like a really good punch, you know, like we're besties. Me and Arthur Morgan, just
I don't know.
good friend.
Just like I don't
You knew what I was going with, okay?
I don't get good punches to the heart. Usually those are just rough, but you know, whatever you're into, I accept you.
But yeah, Arthur Morgan is my favorite character of the year. What about you, Sam? Who's your favorite character? Who punches you in the heart?
Nobody punches me in the heart, because if they're my friend, they're not going to do that. This was probably the toughest category for me, just trying to like nail it down. I eventually settled on Kratos. It's my favorite character, which, I mean, it's surprising because, well, the whole game is surprising in his story arc. But you know, you see him as this gruff, unfeeling god, and then over the course of things, you kind of you slowly start to chip away and see the feelings underneath him and like how much he really cares for Atreus, and just like, I wouldn't even call it a dry sense of humor because I don't even know if it's actually a sense of humor, but like they make him say funny things, but like it's not like he's actually being funny, but just like the way they do it, just his seriousness and the way it comes across as humor is done really well. So he's just like someone that I really enjoyed spending the journey with. So yeah, that's who I went with. So yeah,
good pick.
All right, our next one is favorite moment in a video game. So Cody, why don't you tell me?
This was the hardest category for me because I could not, like, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to get too spoilery. Huh. And I had to sit down and think, and I was like, what's the moment that, like, I was like, I'm in. Like, this has hooked me in the video game. And it's got to go to the opening fight with the stranger in God of War.
Okay.
Because, let me tell you, when I think of superhero fights, that is the fight I think of. Because it is a knockdown, drag-out brawl that just, you're like, there's no way I'm going to win this. And then you do, so you think, and the stranger comes back later. But, like, it is just amazing. Like, it's so visually stunning, but also, like, with every punch, like, that Kratos throws, you feel it. And when the stranger hits you, you feel it. And, like, the vibration of the controller just sticks with you. And, like, I finished that fight, and I was like, I am not putting this down. Like, I gotta keep going. Like, I gotta see what happens next. Like, it is one of the best boss fights in any video game ever. And, like, just mind-blowingly good. Like, so good. Like, so yeah, my favorite moment of the year in video games was the opening fight with the stranger from God of War. Sam, what you got?
First, let me just state for people listening, if you hear a helicopter, that is the helicopter near my house that is going crazy. So sorry about that. Please ignore that. And it's not on your end. It's just me. So, now in a probably not strange turn of events, your moment was at the beginning of God of War, and mine is at the end of God of War. And I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. Let me start this and you stop me if I need to. But just the part where Kratos explains to Atreus why he named him Atreus and what that name meant to him, and that should I tell that or should I not tell that? The look on your face says I shouldn't.
Spoiler talk.
Okay.
For the top 10.
Okay.
Spoiler.
God of War is in the top 10, you guys.
Yeah.
So we'll save that. But that moment, so there's moments in, you know, in movies or in TV shows or in video games where it's so emotional for me that, like, later when I'm just, like, thinking through it and remembering the scene in my head again, like, I'll start to get choked up again just because it's so moving. And that's one of those that really gets me because it's so good. So that's my moment. What's next,
right.
Cody?
Next up, we got best visuals, and hey, shockingly, mine goes to God of War. There are so many moments because of the one-shot camera in this game. How, like, the camera follows you and, like, reveals these, like, wide open areas that, like, just took my breath away. The kind of closing of the game when you walk through this portal into another realm. I'll say that much. The first time you see this realm is just breathtaking. Like, it's like, oh my gosh.
I would say that almost every realm is like that. The first time you see it, you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they're so gorgeous.
Yeah, once you get out to like these wide areas that you can just see everything, it's just like, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Even the like kind of dark and like not so nice places look stunning. And then like the designs on the characters, like detail, like the way Kratos' muscles move when he throws the axe and it comes back to him and you catch it, and you can just see the muscles tense in the arm. It's just like it's so crisp and clean, and like it's just the attention to detail there was just so amazing. But yeah, and like I this counts as best visuals. I'm glad they gave Kratos like a full-on beard. It's really fucking nice. Okay, like
that's what won the category for you.
Yeah, and like just the different kind of armor pieces you pick up in the game, and like how cool they look, and the design of the Leviathan axe is really awesome. There's so many things about that game like just add up to make it the best visuals for me. Like the stunning landscapes, the character design, just like all the small details that they just nail perfectly. Like really bring out the game. Like the story is amazing, but the visuals are just incredible. So, Sam, what is your best visuals?
Well, broken record over here. It's God of War for me as well. Surprise! Hey! So, pretty much everything that you said. This is a fantasy world, but the way it's portrayed is so lifelike and so realistic that it just looks incredible. I mean, it looks like you could just step through the TV and like be in this world. It's so crisp and realistic. I have to say, like, when you're going on the Bifrost, like in the room to activate the Bifrost to travel to the different realms, there's these visual effects that happen while that's going on, and that is just like so gorgeous. I remember the first time that I saw that, I was just like, oh my god, it was so beautiful. You mentioned like the armor pieces and the axe, and like one thing, like when you're going and upgrading the axe, like every time you do something, the visuals of the axe changes, and so it like gets more I'd say detailed and beautiful as the game goes along and as you upgrade it. And just I don't know, everything that you said. Freezing, the freezing world. Where was that? Helheim.
Helheim is the fireplace. The icy place is kind of spoilery.
Okay. Well, I was trying to avoid one thing, and I just stepped into something else. So let's just.
I said what you're trying to do.
End it there. We're gonna end it there, and let's move on. So, all right. So here's something that's not gonna be God of War. What is your best ongoing or DLC?
Oh, you mean the New Game Plus for God of War doesn't count as DLC? I'm kidding. It's gotta go to the game that we played so much of this year, and that is Destiny 2 Forsaken. I don't think, and to me personally, Destiny wasn't in a bad spot for a lot of people. It was like the grind was gone, and like they needed Forsaken to be kind of like the thing that rights the ship, and I feel like they nailed it 100%. Like I brought a lot of people back to the game. Obviously, you're not gonna please everybody, but like the story they delivered, which isn't a spoiler because it's in like all the campaigns, they're all the promotional stuff, but like Cave Death, like all this stuff, like this wonderful story that they created there, and then following it up with like ongoing stuff for the Dreaming City and stuff like that. Like they really just nailed everything with this DLC, and they're continuing to nail it for the most part. We've obviously had some issues with Black Armory and stuff, but for the most part, Forsaken has been like amazing in every way. Yeah, what about you, Sam?
I feel like next time we need to like do these categories better, so like we don't have the same answers. Because mine is also Destiny 2 Forsaken. I love all the story content that comes in Destiny 2. Period. And Forsaken was such a good story because like everybody loves Cade. I mean, what kind of maniac doesn't love Cade? I don't know. I don't want to know. But so he made it just mean so much more for his death, and like, you know, the way you got to see him really shine up into that point was fantastic. And then getting the combat bows, I know we've talked about that before, but just like introducing that new weapon was just a game changer. 'Cause it was just such a new way to play, and everybody had a blast with those bows. When we went to the Tangled Shore and worked with Spider, and like all of a sudden Fallen were our allies now, which we'd never had that before, so that was exciting. And just kind of the direction that they're taking it, and where you're starting to kind of question stuff, and what you thought you knew might not be, you know, what stuff is. We have to wait and see. Or maybe you guys already know, but because I haven't been playing enough, like I still don't know. But yeah, and just also, I mean, just the visuals for Destiny 2 have always been amazing for me as well. And so the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City have been just so gorgeous. I mean, we were playing one time and I'm like, guys, just stop and look at these floors. Like, aren't these floors amazing? You guys are making fun of me, but they looked so beautiful. And like every time we would go to a new place, like I'd want to stop and take screenshots because it's just so gorgeous. And also the soundtrack. Destiny 2 always has a good soundtrack. And we got the Forsaken soundtrack from that. So just everything about it is fantastic. So yeah, that's the one that does it for me. So all right.
It's my turn, correct?
Sure. I don't remember.
I don't remember. Our personal favorite game developer of the year. Sam, what you got?
Okay. I picked Microsoft for this one, and that's kind of why I wanted to just have this whole category, because I really appreciate what Microsoft has been doing this year. I've preached to the choir like a million times about Game Pass and how wonderful it is, but I mean, just they're giving people such a great deal. For $10 a month, you have a selection of so many games to play. The new releases that are coming straight to Game Pass, it's just making it a more affordable way for people to access more games. That's really cool. They've bought all these studios, so they're really going to be working on their first-party games, which that's really the area where they've been lacking this generation. So it's really encouraging to see where they're going to be going with that. And then finally for me, they worked to release the adaptive controller, which is just another way to let people who wouldn't be able to play games with like a regular controller, they're now have accessibility to play games the way they need to. And you'd shared a Twitter post like a month or two ago, and oh god, it made me cry. So it was a commercial for the adaptive controller, and you don't really know what's going on at first. You just see this little boy like running through the neighborhood. It's all snowy, and he's running and he's gathering like all the neighborhood kids. He's like, oh, he's about to do it. Come on, you don't want to miss this. Let's go. Come on. Oh my god, I'm gonna get choked up. And so he gathers like the whole neighborhood together, and they come in. And it's just this kid, and he's playing on the adaptive controller, and like you don't even see what he's playing. You just like, from everyone's excitement, you can tell that he's like about to beat a boss or do something really impressive, and he just has like the whole neighborhood there cheering him on. Oh my god, Cody, I'm getting so worked up about this. And it was just so beautiful. And the tagline was, what was it? When everybody plays, we all win, or something like that. And it was just so sweet, and I just like, it makes me happy that they're making such an effort to do that, because I mean, you know, people don't have to make the effort. They make their games for the people who can play normally, and they're like, you know, that's it, I'm done. But to really go the extra mile to help get games in the hands of as many people as possible, it's awesome. And I just really thought it was cool, and I wanted to give them, you know, a pat on the back for that and call it out. So that's the one that did it for me. Cody, what about you?
So I had to think long and hard on this one, because I was like, I don't know. I don't really think about developers a lot sometimes. So I was like, oh, like who who really impressed me this year, and Microsoft was one of them. But I think ultimately I went with Ubisoft, because I think it's really like it says a lot when a company looks at a product and chooses to continue supporting it instead of just leaving it and forgetting it and moving on to the next thing. Um, like they do that with other live service games like Rainbow Six Siege, The Division, even with like Division 2 being announced and stuff like that. They're still doing stuff for Division 1, which is really good. For Honor, got a new DLC this year, and then like Trials Fusion got released free to hype up the next one, which is Trials Rising.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And like ultimately it culminates with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was like a big step for them because like they had learned a lot from
Origins.
I couldn't, I blanked on the name there for a minute. And they took that and they went to the next level, and they're like, you get to choose between being a male or female, and like you can do all like anything you want in this game, pretty much like romance you want. And they got a lot of shit for that, but like it was historically accurate for the time. And like ultimately, just all that stuff like added up for me. It was like, all right, cool. Like you guys, especially, and also like I like when a developer works well with other developers. So like Microsoft working well with Nintendo was really cool. Ubisoft also worked really well with Nintendo because like they had Starlink and like they had a partnership with that. They have Mario plus Rabbids that had a DLC this year. So all this like stuff just kept adding up for me, and I was like, man, like Ubisoft is doing a great job right now, and like they have so much coming in 2019. Like I gotta give it to them because like I mean also I started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and like we'll talk about that in a second. But goddamn, it's so good. So yeah, like Ubisoft, I think it's killed it this year, and I can't wait to see what they bring next year with the Division 2 and stuff like that. So yeah, mine goes to Ubisoft.
Cool.
Yeah. Not as emotional. Sorry, I could have busted out some waterworks if I wanted to.
So next up we have best voice acting. So mine for this one, I am gonna go with Christopher Judge, who voiced Kratos in God of War. And I mean, there were a lot of good contenders this year, but I feel like what he did with Kratos and like what he had to work with was so little, and he had to convey so much with just like sometimes his little grunts and his like, or his boys. And just like, also, I don't know if this should matter, but like when I see him like outside of the voice acting, like at awards ceremony or at different things, like he's just such a fun, happy, smiley man. And so to see him be the complete polar opposite of what Kratos is, just like shows like how well he did in like embodying this other character. So yeah, I think he did a great job, and I just enjoyed listening to him. So yeah, that's mine. What about you, Cody?
I went with Roger Clark, the voice of Arthur Morgan. Not only the story that he went through, but like the range of emotions that Roger Clark was able to do with Arthur was really stunning. Like how he could go from being this kind, gentle when talking to like older women or young kids, but then when faced with an adversary, how like visceral and like primal his like voice would get, like when he was talking to someone he hated, like Pinkerton. Like it was such a great range of emotions throughout the game, and just like how he kept that going throughout the entire game, and like the voice acting, it was just top notch in Red Dead Redemption all around. But like Roger Clark really brought it to a next level with all the things he had to do, and how like when you're calling for your horse or when you're patting your horse, just all the different like things he had to say probably in studio. Like he probably was there for a good couple hours just saying different things, because like you don't get a repeat very often.
Yeah.
Like it's usually like a couple different ones before you finally like, okay, he says like you're a good boy twice. And so like yeah, like I think Roger Clark really killed it this year with Red Dead Redemption 2, and like he's definitely up there with like some of my favorite voice actors of all time. So yeah.
Nice.
All right. And the same, we got one more category that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. So this is for diversity representation. And when we were making our categories, Cody was like, well, I know we'll put this one in here because I know that's really important to you. And I was like, oh, yeah, it is. Thank you. And then I was like, man, what games did I play this year that had good diversity representation? And apparently I've been falling down on the job because I didn't have a ton. But there is one game that I played recently that I just loved, so I'm gonna talk about that one because that one really did it for me. So it's called Your Royal Gayness, and it's on Steam, and it's a visual novel where you're playing as Prince Amir. He is obviously he's the son of the king and queen, and they have gone on a trip for whatever reason, and so he's left in charge of the kingdom for 3 months, and so you get to control him for 90 days. I can't do math. And you've got situations that will arise that you have to deal with in the kingdom. And so you've got your money stat, you've got your army stat, your loyalty of the nobles stat, and your happiness of the citizens stats. And so you want to keep those as high as possible, and then you'll use currency out of those stats for different things. And so it has a good sense of humor. You'll have some of the things that I had to deal with as the prince were, there was an infestation of cats. There were just too many cats everywhere. And so
the worst.
Yeah. So, but luckily there was a neighboring kingdom that had a problem with rats. So we just rounded up the cats and sent them over there. It was fine. There was another, I don't know, the developers were really into cats because there was another situation where someone had knitted their special mittens for their cat's feet and someone had stole them and the cat's feet were cold. And so it was a real serious situation. And then there was one thing where there was going to be a protest and I avoided the protest by having a puppy parade on the other side of town. And so everybody went to the puppy parade and avoided the protest. So that was great. So you've got stuff like that you have to deal with every day. And then occasionally a princess comes to the door and proposes to you and wants to get married. And so you have to think of an excuse to get her to go away and not marry you. Because, sorry, I might not have stated this, but Prince Amir is gay. But he doesn't, the citizens don't know that. It's a big secret, right? So you'll have different options of things you can pick to say to these women to put together a sentence to try to scare them away. And apparently you're supposed to send your spy master to spy on the princesses to learn what the best responses are to get them to go away. But you can also send your spy master to spy on princes that you want to try to date. But then also your spy master can gather the nobility's loyalty, and you need the loyalty to do laws. So it was kind of hard to balance what you wanted to do with the spy master. But anyway, the point is, if you don't do well with these princesses, if you don't say the right thing to get them to get out of here, you have a suspicion meter, and so it'll start raising. And if the suspicion meter gets to the top, these cultists come and they put you on trial for being gay. And so, yeah, I was real nervous about this the first time. I'm whoa, what's going to happen? But the trial is really easy because it just shows you 2 pictures and you have to pick one. And so the pictures are one is an avocado and one is a cucumber. Or one is a picture of a man, a woman, and a child, and then one is a picture of 2 men kissing. So it's really easy to pick the less gay looking one. So I got out of it not guilty and I was fine. I was very disappointed to find out that if you fail, if you pick the more gay looking images, you still get found not guilty. So I was what's the point of these trials? It's kind of just a waste of time, but that's beside the point. But so you've got different types of laws that you can enact, but the first one that I did was to make homosexuality legal across my country, and it was really cool because like sometimes you get different letters from your friends and stuff, and then sometimes you get just random letters from citizens. And so after I did that, I got a letter from somebody who was like so happy. I was like, oh, I finally get to be with the person that I love, and da-da-da. And like it made me feel really good about what I did. And then the next day, I got a letter from someone who was really pissed and who really hates gay people. And I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. And so I feel like what this game does, it kind of gives you a balance of that stuff, because like, you know, a lot of people are gay and they're out and they're fine with stuff, but then a lot of people do have to hide it for certain reasons. And so this kind of forces you to be in that position and to see it from a lot of different angles. Because like, you know, you're like, oh, I got to try to get my suspicion meter down. Oh, there is one thing you would like. So my like potions master, he can make me a potion that makes your beard grow, and then that makes you seem more manly, and so your suspicion meter goes down a little bit. But I was very disappointed because it didn't go down very far, and I was like, this is not worth it. So but yeah, overall it was a really fun game. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, I thought it was great for this category. But yeah, so, and Cody, you had something you wanted to mention?
Oh, yeah. With Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they opened it up and they were like, you can romance whoever you want. Like, I think it's a very big thing because it's like a popular, like, big title that's doing this. And I personally haven't got to do that yet, but I've seen it be done, and it seems like a really cool option. And like, it's just nice for it to be in the game because like it is kind of historically accurate and stuff. It's just nice that developers are starting to think about like that. Like, oh, we should include other stuff for people who don't want just a regular relationship.
Yeah.
Like, not regular, you know what I mean?
Heteronormative.
Yes, that's the word. And so, yeah, I think this is really cool on Ubisoft. I was like, before the podcast started, we were just trying to like rack our brains, like, what else has happened this year? And like, I just couldn't think of anything.
I know. I feel bad. Well, I did. Yeah, I played another game called Heaven Will Be Mine, but I did not get into it. The sci-fi stuff was super weird in it, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. So I don't know. And I played Hustle Cat, but I don't think that came out this year. So I don't know. But I'll do better. I played a demo for Arcade Spirits, and that lets you have options to romance whoever. So it seems pretty cool. It's coming out next February, though. So maybe we'll be talking about that one next year. So
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's going to wrap up our categories. So we're preparing to move into our top 10. However, before we get there, we ran a community poll on Twitter to let everybody else weigh in on what their favorite game of the year was. And so when Cody first came to me with this idea, he was like, yeah, I think we'll have like 16 games, we'll do brackets and do all this. And I was like, are you crazy? 16 games that could be in contention for like game of the year? That's like ridiculous. No, there's no way we can do that many. And so we were just going to do like 8. And so we sat down to make our lists, and then like we were making them, and we had like so many games. And I was like, oh, you know what? I think you were spot on. I think we need to do that 16. So Cody knows what he's talking about. So we won't go into like what all 16 games were, but we tried to get some diversity in there for all the different types of games. And then, so we had 4 polls running with 4 each, and then we took the top winners from each of the polls and put them in the finals. Cody, do you want to like announce like 4, 3, 2, 1? Would that be exciting?
Yeah, go for it. Give me a countdown.
All right. So, the community has spoken for their favorite game of the year. Coming in at number 4, we have...
Oh, you meant like... I thought you were going to say like... Oh, I thought you were going to be like 4, 3, 2, 1, go! I'd say the winner. You meant like...
No, I was just going to give the top 4 some love, but now that I say it, like, I don't remember what the order was, but I've got it pulled up right now.
No one voted for Monster Hunter World, which is number 4.
No.
How dare you people?
Wait, no, somebody did.
Voted?
Yeah, it's got 4% of the vote.
Oh, okay. Thank you to that one person.
To be fair, it won its bracket, obviously, or it wouldn't have made it to the final 4.
Good point.
So,
good point.
Good on Monster Hunter World. It's the top 4th, the 4th top game. So good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Coming
number
in.
3.
I was going to do it. Did you want
Okay,
me to
you're going to do the thing. Okay. I'm sorry.
All
We're not on the thing.
All right. Coming in at number 3, we have...
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
A late contender, but hey, people love their Smash Bros. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, hold on. Coming in at number 2, we have...
Marvel's Spider-Man.
I don't know the Spider-Man theme song or do it, but it's fine.
Spider-Man.
That was
That's the
like
old
a
90s.
weird. That was weird. It sounded
Okay.
like you should be playing like a sitar with it or something.
It was like the 90s, like animated Spider-Man TV show. You know what I'm talking about?
I never watched it. I'm sorry. It's fine. Are you ready? All right. The community voted, and their number 1 game of the year is...
God of War.
Nice. That was good.
Nice.
That was good.
Thank you.
So yeah. So thank you to everybody who voted. That was an exciting little thing to do. I know I love voting in polls, so hopefully people enjoyed that. We had some good participation, so we had some people rooting for their games. So
Oh yeah.
and I don't think anyone who was doing some rooting actually got their winner, but that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We tried,
We tried, yeah.
It's an honor just to be in the competition, so it's good for you.
Speaking of honor, we have some honorable mentions for our top 10. That was a fucking segue and a half.
That was fucking gold right there, man.
So Sim and I have a combined honorable mention of a nice little puzzle game we played earlier in the year called Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle. Really fun puzzle game. Like, those early levels are pretty simple, and then the difficulty definitely ramps up mighty quickly. And I think it's awesome because obviously it's Friday the 13th, and I love that. But I do love the humor that they inject into the game.
Yeah.
Like when you go to prison, and you go into the cafeteria and Pamela Voorhees' head pops up and it's like, Jason, remember Meatloaf? You used to love when I made Meatloaf. And like, I died when I heard that line. It was so funny. Yeah, I had a blast with that game. It was a lot of fun. I really should get back to it. I think it's on sale currently on the Switch. So definitely.
I didn't know it made it to Switch.
I believe so. I believe they tweeted that out today.
Oh, nice.
Wrong. But hey, if I'm not, go get it. It's a good
Yeah,
deal.
it's a fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. It's one of those things where like it's stupid to say this, but it makes learning fun, because like you're playing as Jason and you're killing these people in fun and exciting ways, but like at its essence, it's just a puzzle game. I mean, if it was just like get to point A or point B without going through this or whatever, it could be just like a really boring little puzzle game. But the way they injected the Friday the 13th elements into it just made it so much fun. So it was really hard once I got to... That's pretty much why I stopped playing, because I got to the really hard levels. They're probably not even that hard, but like I would... Because you can get a hint. You can ask your mom, Pamela Voorhees, to show you a hint, and like she'll play out what you need to do, and like I'd watch it, and then I'd be like, okay, my turn, and then I'd be like, wait, what did it just happen? And then like I'd have to watch it again, and like I'd have to watch the hint like multiple times before I could like get it right. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I feel like it would be good for my brain if I went back and tried to do some more. But we'll see. But yeah,
We'll see.
Check it out if you like puzzles and horror. So, Cody, what else do you have for an honorable mention?
So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the other one, so I just want to get this one out of the way. I did not play Marvel Spider-Man at all, which is shocking to me because earlier in the year I was very excited for it, but as it got closer, I just wasn't feeling it. I am going to play that game next year. I know I've heard great stuff about it, and I'm excited to eventually get to it, but it just did not make my top 10 this year because I just did not play it. So What about you, Sam? What do you got for an honorable mention?
Okay, so here's the thing. What I did a little bit of cramming before our podcast. It's like, there's some, well, basically, so Celeste, I'd heard such good things about it, and then seeing it at the Game Awards, seeing the developers get up there, and they were just so adorable, and they had such a good message, and I just like, I wanted to give this another go, which I bought Celeste earlier in the year, like when it came out. Apparently I played for 28 minutes and called it quits, but platformers are not my thing, and this one is super hard, and I know that it had assist mode, and I know that I turned the assist mode all the way on, but at the time, like, I wasn't into it, I wasn't feeling it, I was like, meh, so this time I was like, you know what, I'm just starting with the assist modes all the way on, and I'm just really here for the story, and I want to see what this is about. So I just, I had that dash, and I just unlimited dashes, and I was just like, boop, boop, boop. So I was just kind of flying through the levels. First, let me say, if you played this game without all of the assists on, I'm in awe of you. If you played it for any amount of time with none of the assists on, then you are like godlike in your video game powers. So I really think you're amazing. Because this game is, like, I go into these levels and I'm like, I have no idea how you would do this if you did not have all your assist modes turned on. So good for people who can do that. Good for the developer, because I mean, you have this dream to make this game and you want it to be super difficult, and you make it that way. But then you don't want to limit who can access this game. You want them to experience this story and just the experience of playing this game. And so you give them a way to do that. And giving them all of the assist modes is just, I mean, I'd say it's pretty revolutionary. I mean, some games have something like that, but the way they did this one. And also, like, I believe there's a way where you can just skip a world or a level if you're having too much trouble with it. If you can't get past, you can just choose to skip it and not even do it. So they give you so many options. But yeah, I think it was definitely worth it to experience the story that goes through here. It's I guess her name's Madeline, but I renamed her Sam, so it's just like saying Sam all the time talking to me. So the character has some problems, like reconciling parts of herself, and as you're climbing the mountain, you're dealing with that and like physical manifestations of that. And it's pretty amazing once you get to the last level, how the situation resolves itself, and then how that resolution affects the gameplay and how you finish your ascent to the top of the mountain. It was really cool. And I can only imagine like how moving this would have been if you had fought so hard without the assists to actually go through the levels and you had done this. Like, you would feel so accomplished. You'd feel like you had actually climbed a mountain. So I think Celeste is a great game. It's definitely worth all the hype. If you're not into platformers, play it with the assist mode on. That's fine. You get to play as well. So it's just it wasn't, I didn't have as much fun with that as I did the games in my top 10. So that's why it didn't get a spot, but I think it's fantastic and it's worth it. So check that one out. All right. Cody, what you got next?
My other one is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just got this week. I'm probably between 8 and 10 hours into the game. I tried to put games on this list that I had over 20 hours in and or I had beaten the game because I felt like I had a more...
Is that a rule? Because I sure didn't do that.
No, this is like a self-imposed rule. So like I don't have enough time in Assassin's Creed Odyssey to have a like full-on opinion about the game.
Yeah.
But I am loving it. And I'm kicking myself for not playing it sooner because I would love for it to be on this list. Like, it could rival my love for Red Dead Redemption 2. Is how much I'm enjoying it already. I'm playing it as Alexios. I know most people play as Cassandra, but like Alexios seems like a cool character to me. And everything I've done in that game, like the combat feels really fluid. The ship combat's really cool. The story so far has been really like fun. With the like kind of because you're playing pretty much a mercenary and you're kind of playing both sides a little bit to get what you want, and I'm enjoying that. And so far they haven't done that stupid thing where they gotta get me back in the Animus or whatever, and I gotta walk around for 20 minutes like every Assassin's Creed game fucking decides to do. I don't understand.
I mean, there's gonna be some of that, just
yeah,
FYI,
I know.
but it's I think it's
it.
a lot less than previous games. So
That's good. But I am really loving the game, and I'm excited to beat it. I'm going to spend a lot of time with it. And yeah, like it's a really good game.
Cody, stop with the pin clicking, please.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize how loud that was. It's a really great game, and I'm excited to keep like diving in further and seeing where it goes. So yeah, it's not on my top 10 list just because I'm only so far I can't like form a full opinion on it. So, what else you got, Sam?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. So, all right. Like I was saying, I was doing my cramming. I'm like, all right. People started talking about Gris and like how wonderful and emotional this game was, and I was like, oh, I feel like I should just try it just to see if it does something for me, because I love an emotional game, and it looks really cool because it's like this hand drawn and watercolor animation style, so it's neat looking. But at its heart, this game is a puzzle platformer, and if there's one thing I'm horrible at, worse than platformers, it's a puzzle platformer. So I didn't have like the best time with this game just because I am not quick to figure things out, and then I get frustrated because I'm unable to figure it out, and then I go and like Google how to do it, and then I get past that part, but then I feel like it's a waste. Like, why even play it if I'm just gonna like Google the walkthrough all the way through, And what's really sad is like I Googled it and there was like a full walkthrough video that was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I was like, because it's not a long game. I'd played about an hour of it, but I just really didn't want to keep playing it, so I stopped. And it's really sad because like if I'd gone a little further, I could have finished it. So I never really got to anything super emotional, which I'm kind of disappointed in. But I will say this, as much as I don't like puzzle platformers, it was doing really cool things with its puzzle platforming. And so if you are into that kind of game, I highly recommend it. Just like the way you would have to solve the puzzles and the way stuff moves in relation to you, it was really cool. And I mean, the art style and the music were really good as well. So I mean, people are just like in love with this game, saying it's like one of the best games of the year. Personally, not for me, but I can see that it's a really cool game, and if you like that thing, if it sounds appealing at all, you should probably check it out because you will probably love it. So that's my other honorable mention. So yeah. All right.
That's time. For our top 10.
It's time. You cut out just a tiny bit there.
Oh, sorry.
You do. Sometimes there are these little spikes with your audio. It's like, but it's overall, I think it's okay. So, I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
So, for our top 10, we're going to do it similar to how we did our top 25 games of all time. Where if we have a game lower on the list, we're not going to talk about it right away until we get to that point. And we should restate, these are our personal top 10 games. You can disagree with us, but once again, these are our top 10 games, not yours. We'd love to hear yours. You can send them to us at contact@geekcardgames.com. But these are our top 10.
Yeah, and
so don't get mad.
And I mean, we're not even saying that they're the best games of the year. We're just saying these are the ones that we really liked.
I mean, I think mine are pretty good, personally. Just saying.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to say mine might not be the best games, but they're the ones that I had a lot of fun with and I love for various reasons. So I'm going to write yours down as we go, just so I'll have a record, because I like to keep records of things. So.
All right.
All right. Cody, do you want to start us off with your number 10?
Yes, I will. So this is kind of a newer game that got added at the last second. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate made it onto my list at the very end.
Wow.
I picked this game up last week, and I have already put over 20 hours into it.
Damn.
And I am loving it. It's more Smash Brothers, which I love Smash Brothers. One of my favorite party games to play. I think the new campaign mode is really cool. Water to Light. I'm shocked by how much I like it, because I initially was like, man, these spirits thing sound stupid. But they actually, like, using the spirits still kind of stupid, but the battles you have against the spirits are actually kind of fun, because they're adding different, like, modifiers to a normal opponent.
Okay.
How I'm unlocking the roster with the, like, challenger approaches, and, like, so a new fighter shows up, so I can add to my roster. It's a lot of fun because it is a challenge, because, like, you don't know all these fighters' moves, so sometimes you get beaten, and I like to remember that so I can get revenge later. So I got.
Oh, Cody, hold on, Cody.
Hey, small technical difficulties there, folks. The internet's funny sometimes. So as I was saying, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So yeah, like, sometimes after you play a game, like, you just play like a random versus mode, it'll say a new challenger approaches, and, like, so every time it's a new fighter to unlock for the roster, because you only start with 8 characters at the start. Kind of, just not to overwhelm you.
That's good.
And so, like, it's been a lot of fun because they are challenging. Because, like, I didn't play the last Smash Brothers when they added, like, Ryu, so, like, I've never played against Ryu in this game. So he beat me like 4 times, and then last 2 nights ago, I want to say, I finally beat him and added him to the roster. So don't I got to fight him anymore.
Nice.
But it's a lot of fun. It does have some issues. The online is not the greatest. It's very laggy.
Yeah. That's fantastic for a fighting game, I hear.
Yeah. I mean, I've won all 3 of my games, so I'm happy.
You've only played 3 games online?
Oh, no, the 3 I've hosted.
Okay.
I've gone into, like, probably about 10, 15. I've probably won like 7-ish of those.
Okay.
Mainly when I host, I want to do like 1v1. When I join a game, I'm doing like the 4-player, just because, like, it's chaotic and kind of fun. And it's just a lot of fun to try out, like, new characters. Like, they added, like, King K. Rool from Donkey Kong and Ridley from Metroid. And, like, I don't know much about these characters. I know a little bit about King K. Rool because I did play Donkey Kong Country back in the day. And so it's just a lot of fun to, like, play these characters and, like, get kind of good with them. And so, yeah, like, and there's so much to do in the game, because, like, I haven't even touched, like, classic mode, which is, like, how an old school, like, Mortal Kombat, you have, like, the tower where, like, you play, like, you fight different people, and, like, there's a boss at the end. And apparently, like, certain characters have, like, special bosses at the end. Like, as Link, you fight a certain Ganondorf, and, like, that's kind of cool. I haven't even touched that yet. And they're having, like, events for the game where, like, different spirits get unlocked. I'm not really touching that yet, just because I don't
what she
care. Okay, all right. But overall, I'm having a great time with Smash. Like, it's awesome. I'm excited to eventually, hopefully, we can do a community night soon. After a couple more people pick it up.
You might be doing that one on your own, because
that's fine.
I don't know if I want to get that, despite the fun you're having.
Yeah, I think the ultimate selling point of this game is when you're setting up your online, you can set up taunt messages. And one of your taunt messages for when you're leaving is, let's smash again. And let me tell you, I love spamming that one. It's a lot of fun. But in all seriousness, it is a lot of fun. In previous Smash games, I've just kind of been like a button masher, and that's the worst kind of person you want to play against.
I mean, I know you just said button masher, but it kind of sounded like you said butt masher.
I mean, I am one of those two.
Oh.
And so this game, I'm being more like tactical and calculated about my moves, like really thinking about what I do next before I do it. And it's going really well for me. I'm enjoying it a lot. And yeah, like I put 20 hours so far into the game. I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface. Like, and I'm very excited to keep playing it. It's a lot of fun. And so yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is my number 10.
Nice.
Sam, what you got?
All right, for my number 10, I've got Yoku's Island Express. And I talked about this earlier this year when I played it. So you're kind of like a dung beetle, which is what we said. You had some debate about that, but I'm pretty sure he's a dung beetle. And he's pushing this ball, and he gets a job as the postmaster on this island. And he has to go around and do different tasks. But basically, as he's going around and getting to different sections of the map, there are little like pinball areas. And so basically, it's a pinball game. And as you're doing, like, because pinball's fun. Like, I've always loved pinball, but like, I feel like it gets kind of boring after a while. Like, if you were playing like an actual pinball machine, like, you know, I mean, I guess you could try to like hit all the different areas and do different things, but it's just like, eh. But this game makes it really fun because when you're in a little pinball section, fruit is your collectible. It's also your currency. So as you're going through, you're collecting fruit, and like sometimes you'll be in an area and you can hit a certain thing and it'll pop out more fruit for you. There's also things where I think there's some type of slug. I know it sounds gross, but you go and you like pick up a slug on your ball, and then like you use it to smash like a rock that was blocking a path. And so it's like you've got little objectives that you're doing while you're doing this pinball in an area. And so it makes it really fun. And I mean, it's just like a cartoony kind of friendly looking game. And I had a blast while I was playing with it. Like, I don't know, I had a lot of fun, but it's like kind of an open world map. And so you go around and like there'll be like a locked area, and once you get a certain amount of fruit, you can unlock that area, and then you go into it and you go to the next little pinball challenge or whatever. And so I got to a point where I didn't know where I was supposed to go next, and like I couldn't find the way that I was supposed to go, and then I got frustrated and I stopped playing, which is really sad because like I was having a ball with the game. And so I kind of feel like I should just go and like start from scratch again and like go through and play it again and like try to like figure out where it was that I was supposed to go. Because it's just like a fun, relaxing, good time to play some pinball. So I don't know. I highly recommend it. I did not play more than 20 hours for that game, but I highly recommend it. So it made a spot on my list. So, all right, Cody, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Oh, well.
Can we talk about it?
No, surprisingly, no. We cannot talk about it yet.
What is your number 9 then?
My number 9 is Starlink Battle for Atlas. So, I don't think this game made it on anybody else's list anywhere that you'd see, but I just had so much fun with this game. The first time I saw a trailer for it, I was like, oh, like flying a spaceship, doing different stuff. This looks fantastic. It looks like so much fun. And then I heard about like the Toys to Life part of it, and I was like, well, no, thank you. No, I don't want to do that. Then I was like, oh, there's a digital edition, so you don't even have to have the toys. This is fantastic. But then I was like, oh, the digital edition's $75? No, I don't think so. And then one day it was on sale for Switch for like your normal $60 game. And I was like, yes, let's do this. And it was at the time when I tried playing Red Dead 2, and I really wasn't having fun. And I was like, oh my God, I just want something fun. And so I bought this game, and it lived up to it. I had a blast with it. So, I mean, you're flying around, you've got some space battles, you're on a planet, but you're also like flying, you're always in your ship. The planets are gorgeous. These like alien creatures that you have to scan are super inventive, and just the plant life on the planets is really cool to look at as well. Like I would spend times like I would just like fly up to these tall like vine looking things that had bulbs on them and just kind of like check them out, just like hover my ship up there and like just look at the detail on this. It was really cool. I've said before, it's like a baby's first No Man's Sky, because it's pretty much that type of game, but it holds your hand all the way and like tells you what you should be doing. There's like NPCs that you interact with. It's never like lonely feeling. You've got so many different weapons that you can switch out for your plane. You can equip one weapon on either of your wings, and they present you with different types of enemies who require different things. So like you're constantly like switching out and like using your different loadouts. Like sometimes, you'll need your ice weapons against fire enemies and vice versa. They have like these gravitational things that like you make people float in the air. It's just like easy, silly fun. I recommend it. It does have a 2-player local co-op that you can do. So if you were ever interested in that, you could check it out. If you have like family friends you wanna play with, and if you can, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do. But I mean, if you can get that digital edition, so you don't have to mess with the toys, then I highly recommend it. I got it on Switch, so I have the Star Fox content as well. And I played as him for a little while. I don't understand the star animal people, but because we've got a Star Fox, and then I guess like the villain in that storyline is a Star Wolf, and he seems pretty cool. So I need to go back and play some more of that. But yeah, it was a good time. It made me happy in a time in my life when I needed some fun and happiness. So there you go, Starlink Battle for Atlas.
All right. I feel like we can't talk about my number 8 either, because my number 8 is Battlefield 5.
You're like spoiling what my list is gonna have on it here. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well here, maybe turnabout is fair play. My number 8 is Slay the Spire.
We cannot talk about that.
Hey, how about that? So we're just not going to talk about games on this top 10 list.
Apparently. My number 7 is Pokemon Let's Go.
That is perfectly safe. You just talk your heart out on that one.
So yeah, Pokemon Let's Go was the kind of like remake of Gen 1 for the Nintendo Switch with some Pokemon Go-esque mechanics. And like it was just that like kind of nostalgia trip for me this year. Because going back to Gen 1 was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the Pokemon Go mechanics for the most part. Ultimately though, this game like just really hyped me up for next year's Pokemon game. Because like, man, did I want to play a Pokemon game on my TV so bad. Like it's been like something I've just wanted since back when the GameCube, you could put in the Game Boy Advance cartridges in the bottom and play it. And like I was like, oh, this is finally it. I can do it. And I put it in, and it was like, oh, you don't use one Joy-Con. You gotta flick your fucking wrist around. And I was like, no. So I played this entire game in handheld. But like just seeing Pokemon updated graphics and like getting to ride an Arcanine was really cool, and just experiencing the Gen 1 story again was just like, it's just so nice because like it's something I've done a million times, but every time I like find new ways to love it. And like the kind of like small tweaks they did, like how there's more of a focus on Team Rocket, and like how your rival is there for a lot of more stuff than usual. And it's just really cool. And like some of the late game stuff you get to do, like they introduce some characters that were only in the manga, which is really awesome. So like overall, it's like Pokemon Let's Go was it was really nice to go back to like my childhood pretty much, because it was like Pokemon Yellow was the first Pokemon game I ever got, and this was pretty much Pokemon Yellow. But for the Switch, it was really cool. I was really happy with it. So that was Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah. I will say the graphics on Pokemon Let's Go were fantastic. Those Pokemon were so adorable. And then I see like the, I don't know, 8-bit, 16-bit, I know I should know this, graphics from like the original ones, and I'm like, those are so ugly. How could you even tell what anything was? Like, how did
some of those early ones were rough.
They're so rough. I was just like, man. But they're making their Pokemon look good these days, so it's got that going for it. Yeah.
All right. Number 7 for you.
Number 7 for me. Okay. This is A Way Out.
We cannot talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We're too similar.
My number 6 is Florence.
Good for you, buddy.
So Florence was this phone game about a girl who got in a relationship and broke up and like how it affected her life. Funny story, I got into a breakup this year. And it really shook me to my core. So this game, when I initially played it, actually helped me a lot because when the breakup happened, I knew what to do with my life. It's just this really beautiful game. Like the art style is really great, and just like the raw emotion that it portrays from this girl as she like meets this guy. They get close, they get connected, and like how close they get. Like he moves in, and then the breakup happens, and like how you like things start like falling back, and like how she's like, well, I need to pick my life back up, and the things you do in the game, and like it conveys all this in 45 minutes at the max, and it's just so beautiful. And like I can't describe it. Like I never thought a phone game would make me feel like this. Like I was like, what's happening? And like it's only like it's probably like 99 cents on like the Android store or Apple store. So definitely like go pick it up. Like the art is stunning. Like it's just really nice looking. The music, it's just really like really good. Like you can have some headphones on, just kind of like bop along with it. Like it's really good. And yeah, just that story overall. Like I think it's something you need to experience. So I don't want to spoil it. Like it was just a really beautiful game, and it ended up helping me a lot this year. So yeah, it's something I'll always remember. So that's why it is on my list, Sam. Even though you're giving me like the what? Why is it on your list, Cody?
Yeah, no, I made a what the fuck face when you said that. I would like to retract that face. You know, I mean, I recognize that Florence was a really cool game. What it was doing and the way it did stuff was really cool. And I mean, it warms my heart that it was such an emotional experience for you and that it helped you in life. And the fact that when any game can do that, it's always like so wonderful. So I think it's awesome that it did that for you, that it means so much to you. And that's great. And I'm sorry that I belittled it with my face. So.
You're good. I was messing with you.
No, I did. I felt bad for it after I did that. I was like, yeah.
So that was Florence. Sam, what is your number 6?
My number 6 is Marvel Spider-Man. Now this one, like...
I couldn't even fuck with you and be like, we can't talk about it, because I didn't play.
I had, like, weird feelings about Spider-Man as I was playing it, because I feel like I just wasn't in the mood for it when I first started it. But seriously, nothing compares to the way it feels when you are swinging on your webs through the city. It was just like such an amazing thing. And I had a lot of fun, you know, at the beginning, just going through and like finding the backpacks and like listening to the little stories that go with each thing that you find. And then it's got puzzles that I thought were really fun. There were 2 different types of puzzles that you could do in the lab, and like those are not my favorite things to do, but I really enjoyed them. So like every time I went in the lab, like as many puzzles that were open to me, like I do them. And I know I just said that I don't like puzzles, but like some of them I do if they're like easy enough for me to figure out. So I had a lot of fun with that. The combat took me a really long time to master, and I think that's part of why I had like slow feelings for this one. Like I wasn't, but I did eventually get to a point where I was like, yeah, like I know what's going on. I'm like spending more time in the air like you're supposed to as Spider-Man and getting around and doing this stuff. I do think that like there was too much fighting, like just like kind of horde-based fighting, like you kind of repetitive doing the same things. Like you have to do all like the crimes through the city and then you have to clear the bases, which like this would be like an easy platinum to get. And it wasn't even about getting the platinum on this one. Like I really wanted to get the Spider-Man suit where it's just him in his underwear and his mask. Like, cause I mean, that man has some abs that look fantastic, and I was like, yes, I would really like to do that. But I wasn't willing to put in the work to go and clear all the bases after I finished the game, because I'm like, that's just too much fighting, and I'm not having a great time with that part of it. I will say the story was really good on this one. I think the decision to include Miles was fantastic. I do feel like they used him kind of like a stand-in for Peter Parker in certain areas of their storytelling, but it just kind of gave them more leeway to tell multiple different kinds of stories in the one thing. So it's kind of like I don't think I ever loved Spider-Man as much as I wanted to, or as much as other people do, but like I did have a lot of fun playing it. So, and it was just a fantastically crafted game, and what they built was a wonderful product, and like I feel it deserves a spot on my list. So there you go. That's my number 6, Spider-Man.
All right. Number 5 for me is Slay the Spire, a roguelike deck building game that came out on Steam earlier this year, and it's supposed to be releasing on Switch next year, I believe. So I'm really excited for that.
I'm gonna buy it again.
Yeah. So I remember watching a YouTube video on this, and I was like, "This looks like a lot of fun." And like, I have never like saw a game and been like, "I need to go buy that on Steam," because I don't buy games on Steam because I don't use my laptop for gaming too much. But this game was just like so cool looking, and I was like, I gotta play this. So it's pretty much like when I first got into it, there was only 2 classes you could pick from, kind of like a warrior and like a rogue, and you pick that, and like you get cards based on the character you pick, and then so you are going through like procedurally generated dungeons where you pick a room and you go up this like branching path until you get to a boss, and then you gotta go to the next branching path. And like each time you win, you can pick from cards, and you're building this deck around the character, and like you can kind of like start building like theme decks for like the warrior, pretty much. Like you can build like all defense, and then like if you build up your defenses, you can have that one card that makes all your defenses deal damage, and so like you get this like huge like giant shield bash, pretty much. And then like the poisonous rogue character, it's like my go-to, where I just load up on poison cards just so I can like damage over time enemies. And like this was like the game that really like got me into roguelike games, because like just that drive to beat the final boss was like, I was like, I gotta do it. And I only did like 3 times. Like it wasn't like something I did very often, but I was like, fuck yeah. Like every time I did it, I felt proud. And I was like, I loved it so much. I was like, Sam, I think you would really like this game. And so please tell me what you thought of Slay the Spire.
Yeah, well, you were really trying to get me to play this game, and I was like, Cody, I have no interest in this card game. I don't, but like, I like to try new things, I like to be open to an experience and give things a try, and it was only like $15 or something. So I was like, all right, man, I mean, if he loves it this much, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try it out. Blew my socks off how much I loved this game. Like, just from the get-go, it was so much fun. Like, I never would have imagined that I would like this kind of game, but something about it, just like it's very easy to come into and learn how to play. You've got your, each round you're dealt cards, and you have so many points to spend each turn, and like each card costs a certain amount of points, and you're like, well, it tells you what the enemy is going to do next. So like you can tell if they're going to do some type of stat buff or debuff. You can tell if they're going to attack you, and you can tell if they're going to attack you how many points of damage they're going to do. So like you've got a real clear idea of what's going to happen, and so making your strategy for that round, like, okay, well, I need to put this many points of defense up before I even look at attacks, or else I'm going to lose so many points, So it's just, I don't know, man. And like this is the first roguelite. Actually, this is a roguelike. Right? I've just recently learned the difference between a roguelike and a roguelite. So apparently the roguelike is you just play the round, and when it's over, you don't get anything from it. A roguelite, you play the round, you die, but you've gathered stuff that makes you more powerful for your next try. Good to know. That was exciting for me. I didn't know that. But yeah, so this was my first of either kind. And like I've certainly never beat the game. I've made it to the second floor, I think like once or twice. I'm not great at it. But it's just fun. And it's like I feel like to really enjoy those type of games, for me at least, like beating the boss isn't necessarily the goal. The goal is just to play it and have fun and just, see if you can get as far as you can get. But yeah, it's just a blast. And it's just like one of those experiences where you try something new that you thought you would never like and you just fall in love. So yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, and like the art style is really cool. Like everything's like hand drawn pretty much, and like they just introduced like earlier this year they introduced a third class you can play as like a mage kind of character, and I haven't played that at all pretty much.
Oh, I think that's the one that I really like, because that's the one that has the little orbs that you can fill, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that one. That's my favorite. Yeah, I like that one.
So I definitely want to get back to it, especially on the Switch, because like it's just gonna be the perfect game for that. But yeah, Slay the Spire, like I put so much time into that game. Like I remember talking to you on PSN chat, and you're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm playing Slay the Spire." He's like, "Said you're playing Destiny, Cody," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," like I'm like,
no, wait, no, I believe. I think what happened multiple times, perhaps, was we were playing a game together on PlayStation, possibly like a Fortnite, and then you were also playing Slay the Spire at the same time, and I was like, what are you doing, Cody? We need to focus right here. And you're like playing two games at once. I was like, no, sir.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, hey, so yeah, Slay the Spire is my number 5. It was a really good game.
Yeah, well, and I'm really excited for Switch. I was so wanting this to be like a mobile accessible game because I don't like playing on my laptop, that I tried to do the whole Steam Link thing with your phone, but like for some reason it was just like such a bad connection that it couldn't handle it at all. But yeah, I'll definitely get it when it comes to Switch. So it's a good one.
All right, what's up next for you?
Okay, well, here's the thing, Cody. I ran into a real tough situation with a couple of games because first off, there are two games that when I first started thinking about putting them on my top 10 list, I was like, man, am I really gonna do this? Like, I don't know about this. Like, I feel a little bit ashamed that these games are going on my list. But the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I have so much fun with these games, and that's what this list is about. It's about what games meant something to me this year, and there's no reason to be ashamed of it. These are just the ones that I love. And so then I was like, okay, these two games are going to be on the list. I'm like, what order do they go in? And I'm like, this is so hard to decide because like I feel like they're my two children, and like you're being asked to pick one child over the other. And I'm like, how can you do that? Because they're similar, but they're different. And I love them both. And it's like, how can you say that one is better than the other? Like, I don't even know. So really what I would really like to say is that I don't have a number 5 on my list, but I have 2 number 4s on my list. Because that's how I feel about these. But if we have to set numbers to them, I kind of decided to go with just the numbers that they gave me. And so in that case, my number 5 would be Battlefield 5. And my number 4 would be Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, this was a shocker for me, let me tell you. If you had asked me 3 months ago, if either of these games, I would have been like, no, these games would never be on my list. A, I have no interest in Call of Duty. I'm not getting that game. I wouldn't even play it. Why would it be on my list? 2, I'm only getting Battlefield 5 because there's a woman on the cover and I want to be supportive, but I didn't like Battlefield 1 and I know I'm probably not going to like this game, so there's no way that one's going to be on my list. But then I got Battlefield 5, Cody, and I played it, and I have no idea what happened, but that game is so much fun. I love it so much. I go into it. They have the different classes. Like, we were playing the other day, and you were kind of bitching about how you bleed out when you're about to die. And you're like, I just want to die already so I can respawn. And I'm like, no, bleeding out is like the most important thing, because when I play as the medic, I get to revive so many people who are bleeding out. And like, that gets me so many points. And like, I feel like I'm a productive member of the team. And then, like, to be honest, I really only play domination mode in Battlefield 5. That's my favorite mode. That's the only thing that I like to do. The others, I've played them, and sometimes I've had fun with them, but generally I don't. They've recently, in the past few weeks, released this Tides of War update, where each week you have specific tasks that you can do to get different types of XP, and like each week if you do the tasks you get like a certain cosmetic unlock at the end of it. And the first week, oh my god, Cody is so bored right now.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
No, it's been a long day. I'm sorry.
Let's remember Battlefield 5 is also on his list, so he's gonna get his say in a minute. But yeah, so like the first week of Tides of War, it was having you do different things where like you would need to play a different class and do different things, and I like that it gives you these assignments that encourages you to play things different ways. Because, like, you know, I like my medic, I play it a lot, but if there's a task where it's like, oh, you need to do this as recon, then I go play recon, and you know what? I have fun. Like, I've never been a good sniper or, like, really enjoyed sniping very much, but, like, in Battlefield 5, I can have fun playing the recon class. So it's just, like, it's so weird and just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. But it's addictive. Like, I'll be at work and I'll be like, man, I just want to go home and play some Battlefield 5. So it's wormed its way into my life, and like, I've played probably close to 30 hours of it so far, and I'm like, how did this even happen? Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But do you want to go ahead and do your Battlefield 5 talk, Cody?
Yeah. Once again, a game I was like, man, I'm not getting this, and then like I was like, oh, a bunch of people are gonna get it, so I guess I'll get it. I've always had like some issues with Battlefield games, but I think this one isn't as bad, because there are, like, I think where Battlefield struggles for me is like these long range open sight lines, and now everyone feels like they have a sniper rifle that can just hit me no matter what. This game doesn't have as much as that. I feel like there is zones where you're definitely like, oh god, I'm in sniper zone.
Well,
But,
I feel like it depends on the game mode. Like Conquest and
too,
Grand
yeah.
Operations, I feel like that happens a lot more, and somehow domination maps are just more contained and it's less likely.
But like, ultimately, this game's going to come down to like the memories I'm making it. And so, talking about this Tides of War thing the other day, we were trying to get you enough points to spawn in a missile strike or something like that, and like we were like, okay, the best way to do this is we got to go start taking objectives, but also we want to win the game too. So me, you, and like whoever else was with us were on a mission to go capture zones, and we went around and we were killing people. I think I was in like first, and you were like in fifth that game.
Yeah.
We were just going around like capturing zones, and you eventually got the missile strike. Let's not talk about what happened with it.
I'll talk about it in a minute.
But like, I remember just running, and I was like, man, like I'm having a blast. Like this is so much fucking fun. And that's like kind of what you live for in video games. These moments where you're just like, you forget you're playing a game and like you're just having fun, and like it's just, no matter, like, even if we died, we were like, ah, crap, well, we just gotta respawn and like hope for the best, and like it was just
that
so
was
much...
when you were bitching about the bleeding out. Let me remind you.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, like the bleeding out just takes so fucking long. I just want to die.
So
and
I can
respawn.
revive you. Come on.
No, okay, but when there's no medics around me, just let me insta die. Just let me. Like, no medic is gonna magically appear from the dirt, be like, oh, let me help you. Like, no one's doing that.
Fair enough.
Like, anyways, complain about your missile strike.
Dude, okay, so this is this is actually the point where I stopped enjoying Tides of War, and I'm really not doing it anymore. Because like this was the last task before I got my unlock for that week, and you just had to be in a squad that gets the missile strike, and you have to kill 2 enemies with it. And so like I tried it by myself one night, just getting in squads trying to do it. People either wouldn't get the score high enough to call in the missile, or they'd get the score high enough and then not call in the missile. And I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I was really close to getting on the microphone and being like, hey, can you call in a missile, please? But then, like, I was like, I don't want to talk to strangers. So I didn't. But so the next night, I was like, Cody, can you please come do this with me? And so we did. And we had a rough time because, like, it was trying to, like, put us in a squad with just the 2 of us, which it's hard to get your points up enough to buy the missile when it's just the 2 of you. And so we ended up joining other squads, and then someone else is the leader, and then like it promotes you to the leader but doesn't tell you. So I eventually got to be leader, and so we got enough points to get this missile. And it's like, all right, but like I gotta get 2 kills out of this missile strike, and you can't really get close enough to see people to aim your missile because they'll kill you. So we were kind of back. We're like, yeah, there's enemies at point B. I guess you were like, just send the missile. So I was like, all right, I'm sending the missile. And so I did, and like the screen like pops up showing all the damage that various players are getting, but none of them got killed from it. And I was like, damn it. And we'd worked so hard on it, and I was just like, man, like, why are you going to make this challenge so hard and so contingent on having, well, I guess because they want you to have a squad that you're like working together with. But still, that missile strike's real hard. So I didn't get the unlock for that week. And then the next week, like, I thought that the Tides of War was glitched because whatever the objective was, like, I was doing it in the game, but it wasn't counting it. And then I realized that, like, the Tides of War assignments, you have to be in a certain type of game mode to do them. So, like, even though you're doing, like, maybe I have to resupply allies, like, if I'm doing it in domination, it doesn't count. It's like, oh, no, you need to be in conquest. So then I was like, all the Tides of War stuff were like, you had to be in conquest for a week. And so I was like forcing myself to play it, and I wasn't having a good time, but like, I was like, I wanted to do my assignments. And so then eventually I was just like, you know what, this isn't worth it. I mean, honestly, I don't care about the cosmetics at all in Battlefield 5 because all the outfits pretty much look the same. I mean, World War II wasn't like...
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything super creative or flashy with those outfits. It's like, oh, here's like a dull gray outfit. Oh, but here's a dull blue one, okay? So I'm not into that. The only thing that I am really into is on my Sten gun, which is my medic gun, right? I've done enough mastery assignments for it that I have a gold-plated muzzle and a gold-plated sight. And, like, I want to keep doing the masteries because I really want to have, like, a solid gold-plated Sten, which there's, like, probably at least 5 or 6 other parts. So that's, like, 5 or 6 other mastery assignments that are going to be really hard. But, like, I'm having fun with it. Like, if I just stop worrying about, like, okay, if there's an assignment that I don't want to do, just don't do it. That's not why I'm here. I'm just here to have fun playing it. So that's kind of the mindset that I've changed, and I've been having a better time with it since then. So yeah. I will say that, like, it does have its glitches, and it's not, like, a smooth operating game necessarily, but I'm having fun with it, so I let that go. But yeah. Okay, so now we'll talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 4, my number 4 game. Because I was having such a good time in Battlefield 5, and just because it surprised me, because I was like, I never would have thought I would like it, like, maybe I should try Black Ops 4, because who knows, you know? Like, this surprised me, maybe, you know, whatever. It was on sale for Black Friday, so I got it, and I was just like, who knew? This game is so much fun! I've played Call of Duty multiplayer before, and I just never got into it. Like, I was always just slaughtered immediately. I could never find my way, never get anything done. So I was like, ugh. And then Black Ops 3 was a free game on PS Plus not too long ago. And so I got it and I played it. And I was like, you know, it's okay, the multiplayer, but like, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'd rather just play Titanfall 2, so, and I tried the zombies mode on Black Ops 3 and I was like, I don't really care for it. But yeah, man, something about Black Ops 4 just feels so good. I like the way they have the specialists. They've got different abilities, and there are a few that I can use comfortably. Prophet is my favorite because he's got a just like car, like a little miniature, like little
Shock drone.
but it's on rollers, and so it'll go out and find an enemy, and if it finds them, it shocks them, and so then while they're getting shocked, you can shoot them. So that's my favorite. That's the one I use the most. And it's just super fast paced. Like sometimes with Battlefield, it takes you a while to like go find enemies and get back in the action. But the Black Ops 4 maps are so... I'm sorry, let me just clarify. I'm talking about multiplayer in Black Ops 4. That's the only part that I've really enjoyed. I didn't care for the zombies, didn't care for Blackout, but I love this multiplayer, okay? But yeah, so you get back into the action real fast. I can get like... I don't know, like I can average like 9 or 10 kills per game, which for me, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, They've got quite a few game modes in multiplayer that I like to play. So it's not just like the one domination from Battlefield 5. Like there's a lot of different things I can play. And honestly, like the only reason, like I've played more of Battlefield 5, but I think it's just because like, well, I had that one earlier, and then like they're both on disc, and I'm super lazy and I don't like to get up and change what disc is in the PS4, and so like whatever's there is just the one I play. But yeah, like I said, like I'd made the mistake, I played some Titanfall 2, and then I wasn't enjoying Black Ops 4 as much, but after I took a little distance away from it and came back to Black Ops 4, I was like, nope, I love this game. I love it. They've got so many different types of guns, and I mean, granted, I don't use a lot of them. Like I find the ones that work for me, and I stick with those. But then sometimes like I'll just be like, oh, let me try this new one. Oh yeah, I like that one, so let me play with that one for a while, and like you can get different upgrades for it. I like that when you kill somebody, you can take their gun, and if it has a cool skin on it, then like you've got the gun with the cool skin for a little while until you die. I found that my favorite gun is the swordfish, because I've picked it up when people have died. I can't unlock it until I hit level 55, so I'm still working on that. But I don't know. It's just fun. I have a great time with it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, who knew after last year's debacle of me trying Call of Duty World War II and be like, I'm never going to love Call of Duty again, I would actually love Call of Duty this year. I like kind of return to like boots on the ground. I'm getting a phone call.
Oh dear. Okay.
Give me one sec.
Okay.
I had a phone call that time. We're just having all the technical issues. So yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, like I enjoyed the kind of return to boots on the ground, but still kind of futuristic in a way. I feel like the guns feel a little sharper than in World War II when I played of it. In multiplayer, I definitely enjoy the specialist. Like it kind of reminds me of Overwatch in a way, because like you're building up a like ultimate almost, and like when you get that ultimate, you actually feel powerful. And like I feel like I could still hang. Like there's these young kids out there running around like with SMGs, like destroying people, and I felt like I was doing all right. So I was pretty happy about that. I got to kill Cam once.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun. I think my favorite was the Nomad, just because like the tripwire, and then also the dog. It's just really cool.
Yeah. Wait, those aren't the same. Oh no, I was thinking something else. Never mind. I was thinking of the razor wire. Gotcha.
Oh, did you? Blackout was a lot of fun. I think they really took the battle royale and like added that AAA polish to it, and like it being in first person was really cool. it's just kind of nice because like most battle royales are in third person, and so it being in first person was really nice. The one win I got was like really awesome. Like got my adrenaline pumping. Uh, for extra life this year, I had that like really close game
Yeah.
where it came down to just me and one other person. That person snuck around me, and let's not talk about it because I got really angry. But yeah, like, and even zombies was fun to play for a little bit. But overall, like it was a really fun game, and I was really just pleasantly shocked that I enjoyed a Call of Duty game. Um, so yeah, that's Black Ops 4 for me.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, my number 4 is A Way Out. All right. So I remember when they first announced this game, like me and you were like, "Oh, we're obviously going to play this together." It was
Well,
like,
I called dibs. I was like, I'm not letting this get away. I'm like, Cody, we're playing this one together, right? Like, I wanted to get that locked down and make sure I had my partner.
And so I think like part of the reason I really enjoy A Way Out is because it's really like almost revolutionary where like it didn't require both people to own the game to do co-op. Like I just had to have a demo and you bought the game. And like that's just something new. Like that's not something I think not even like especially at the time when it came out when EA was definitely in like
Yeah.
the hot seat. Like it was really cool. And then like playing it, I was like, man, I'm really liking this game a lot. And, like we had a video series on it, and like the story of these two people and like where it goes was just really good, and like the twists and turns it takes, and then that really big turn that leads you into the end, the finale, like it's something you really got to experience. But like this, the small things, like the kind of mini games you got to play. Like there's a scene where you're both in jail and like you're both in your jail cells that are right next to each other, and you're trying to unscrew your toilet so you can get carve a hole out from behind it to get out behind. And so what one person has to do is keep watch, and while the other person's like unscrewing or cutting into the wall, and like this kind of like game that happens where like you're like, oh, I think you're good. Oh no, wait, that person's coming. You better stop, and like it just is so much fun. And like this kind of the mini games that like you do like throughout of it, and like just this kind of relationship you build with these characters is really cool. And like I'd really like that like our characters fit each other pretty much perfectly. And yeah, like just it was a really beautiful game, and like I loved every second of it. And like I think a good part of that is because me and you played it together, and like we shared in that experience together. But like it's really awesome. So yeah, what did you think of it, Sam?
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed the experience of us just playing it together. But I was just like blown away by how they put it together. Because pretty much the whole time it's split screen. You see your stuff and then you see the other players' stuff going on as well. And so like sometimes there can be like two different things going on. Like we could both be having conversations with different people. And so you're like, oh wait, do I listen to his? Do I listen to mine? What's happening? You know? So you just kind of have to time stuff like that. But then the really cool parts are when like the screen will come together and they have quick time events for like a lot of the fight sequences. And I don't generally like quick time events, but the way that they did these were so cool, and the way that they did like the camera panning around, and they just had a really cinematic feel because like we were in the prison yard having a fight because some hothead Leo started a fight with people. I think you did. I had to come to your rescue. And so, you know, it starts out where like he's doing this stuff and he's fighting, and then like the camera kind of swirls and like you see my character Vincent coming in and like he's doing his stuff. And so that's cool. And then there's like stuff later where there's like a big chase sequence, and like we're both having to do like our special tasks and like hit our marks in order for the next person to continue on. And just the way that it flowed together so well was really cool. Leo and Vincent were really good characters, and I liked the story and the way they developed their relationship. And again, like you said, like the ending is really cool. But yeah, it's fun. We just had a blast with it, and you know, it's if you've got a buddy to play with, definitely check it out because it's a good time and it tells a really good story.
I hope they do more kind of games like this because like it definitely like I loved it. So yeah, I'm definitely in for another. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your number 3? We're in the top 3.
My God, the top 3. So my number 3 is Strange Brigade. This we saw this game. We saw like a trailer for it, or actually like it was like long. It was like gameplay we were watching. But, like, man, this game looks really cool. It's a shooter like in Egypt. It's got like a snarky narrator. And it just seems like it would be a good time. But then like when it was released, it was a $50 game, and like I was like, man, I kind of didn't expect it to be that much. Like, I don't know if I want to like, you know, do this, because like, what if it's one of those games where the shooting doesn't feel good, and it's just like it's hordes of enemies, and it's like, you know, if I want hordes, I've got Killing Floor 2. I was like, oh, I don't know. But I went ahead and bought it. I was like, let's just give it a go. And I had a blast from it from the start. So it's 4-person co-op, but I started off just playing by myself. And like I suspected, the shooting does not feel good in this game. Like it's not easy to shoot. It's hard to aim. You've got to be real careful. I miss my shots a lot. But I don't even care because it's so much fun. So the setting is, we're in Egypt. I guess it's probably like, maybe like the 40s, and we're going on like an archaeological expedition, sort of, but also just trying to stop the previous archaeologist who released Sateki, this evil goddess, I guess. So we're going through doing that, and like I said, so the narrator is this British guy who's like really snarky and has a great sense of humor, and I love him so much. It adds like such personality to this game. So there's things like your collectibles are these little cat statues, and so like every time you go and shoot the cat statue, he'll like say something snarky about cats because like he really doesn't like cats. Like, my favorite one is you shoot it, and then he's like, well, you see, a dog would have avoided that. And I'm like, and then, like, there was one time I went in this cave, and I found a cannon, and I shot it to, like, destroy this wall. So it was, like, this huge, loud boom, like, lots of noise, you know? And then the dust settles, and the narrator goes, the Strange Brigade, masters of stealth. And I was just like... I was like, this guy is so funny. So that just, it sets the tone for really cool stuff. This game is like you shoot stuff, but then you also have to do puzzles. And I was enjoying it because like it's my kind of puzzles. They're not too hard. There are different things where like you have to like do a combination, and so you have to go like out in the world and find the hieroglyphics telling you what the combination is. There are puzzles where it's like kind of like the pipe things, and you have to turn the pipes to get the water flowing from one point to the other. There's some floor puzzles where like you have to like navigate through to do different things. All of them were like pretty easy to figure out once you got to them. I have found that like there's a lot of puzzles and stuff that like I just never found in my playthrough because like I didn't go explore that area very well, or like I screwed up my hieroglyphics and couldn't get into a door or something. But I had fun with that. And the thing about this game is like when I first started, like every time I would trigger a horde and there would be so many enemies coming at me, I would freak out and be like, there's too many enemies, like there's no way I'm ever gonna get through this is gonna be horrible. But then like I would get through it. And you've got a dodge ability, which was super fantastic. I can dodge for days, let me tell you. And so you just kind of whittle stuff down. Like you shoot an enemy, you dodge, you run away a little bit, you shoot another one, and you just kind of keep at it until you've got them all down. There are health potions. Once your health gets down into the red zone, that's like your real danger zone. There's a trophy for being in that red danger zone for at least 20 minutes. I got that trophy pretty early in the game because one of my problems, besides not being good at shooting, is like I had trouble seeing where the health potions were on the ground. Like, they're red, but they just didn't stand out a super obvious amount. And so, like, I swear I would just be, like, walking past health potions and, like, not even see them there. So I spent a lot of time at low health, but it was good for me because, like, taught me how to stay alive really well with low health. And then after playing like 5 or 6 missions, I think I've said this before, I found out there was a difficulty setting, and I realized I'd been playing on normal this whole time. Like, I didn't know that I could make it easier, but like at that point, like I'd already played so much on normal, I was like, man, I can do this. So like I kept going with it on normal, and I ended up beating the game, which was tough. This game is really built for 4-player co-op, and there's a lot of stuff in there that would be so much easier if you had multiple people playing with you. But like, I was really proud of myself for getting through it. Some of the boss fights are really hard because you have like a really small hit area, whereas like the only place you can do damage is if you hit him in this one spot. And like I said, you know, me and the aiming, not great in this game. So like it might take me like 20 minutes just to get like 3 hits on a boss, because like, but I made it through all of it, and it's a fun game. The boss fights were frustrating for me, but I think they were pretty cool, and I think if you had like sufficient co-op help with it, they would go a lot better. But the ending was pretty cool when you eventually have your showdown with Sateki, and how that all eventually plays out was really cool. I did like, because I was like, I don't know if I want this to be my number 2 game or my number 3. Like it's a pretty close race, and I was like, let me see if I can get some co-op to play this and see if the co-op is enough to like push it over for me. So I got Andy and Alejandro to play it with me over on Xbox, because it's on Game Pass now, and we had a lot of fun with it. That's where I learned that like I was missing lots of stuff because I hadn't explored sufficiently, because I'm with them and we're like finding areas. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before. This is great. And Andy's really good at finding the cat statues. He found us all the cat statues in the first two worlds. So I had fun with it, and I definitely recommend playing it with co-op, but it wasn't quite enough to edge out into the number 2 position. So, but I love it. I wanted to go back and get some more trophies for it on my PlayStation. So I was trying to do that the other night, and I found a new weapon that I'd never seen before. It's called a Scarab Launcher, which basically is like a grenade launcher. And so that was really cool. It's really helpful against these scorpions. But then, you know me, and like any type of launcher weapon, I have a tendency to blow myself up. So I did that, unfortunately. And I was real close to getting like 2 trophies. And I was like, nope, I've screwed it up now. So I'm just going to have to start over. So, but yeah, it's a great game. I love it. It's got great humor. You won't even care that the shooting's not great. So, yeah. All right. Cody, what's your number 3?
My number 3. I'm going to tell you. These top 3s, they got a little rough there for a little bit. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what I want. But ultimately, I came down to my number 3 being Monster Hunter World. A game that I put 300 hours into, and just, good lord. Like, I remember when they had the demos for it last December, and I was like, okay, like let me try this out, because like I heard good things about Monster Hunter games before. I just never got into them. And man, I probably put like 20 hours into the demos alone. Like I was just like, screw it. Like this is a lot of fun. And like I never realized like I just wanted this game where I was fighting giant monsters like all the time. And so like I remember playing through the game and like beating. I thought I beat the game. I was like, oh cool, I'm done. And like I rolled credits. No, there's just like a soft credit thing they did. Then like 20 hours later, I beat the real game.
Oh wow.
And like this game came at a time when I needed it the most because like Destiny was not fulfilling that like repetitive itch for me, where like I was like I want something that I can keep going back to
I
and
think you should
like
see a doctor for that.
okay. The second I said that, I was like, she's gonna make a joke. Just like a game that like I can keep going back to and like there's always something new to do. And like Monster Hunter World came out and like that's what it was for me. Like I was constantly having stuff to do. Um, there's so many monsters to fight in the game, and there's always like you can pick up a weapon and like kind of just learn it and like master it. And like I felt like I got there with a good number of weapons. Um, and then like they have these events that were happening. Like there was a crossover with Horizon Zero Dawn. They had a crossover with Devil May Cry, and just like Street Fighter, like all this stuff. And like they had their holiday events, and like ultimately the game was just so much fun because like no matter what, I was having a blast because like I'm just fighting giant monsters. And, like it's always been my dream. Like it's just fight giant monsters. Um, like as someone who like grew up and like watched Godzilla movies and was like, this is so cool. And like it was just the other like really fun aspect was there's always a challenge. Like how I talked about last week, how fighting the Arch Temper Nergigante by myself and like dying and 20 plus hours fighting that monster, and when I finally fucking killed him I felt so accomplished, and I was like, man, this is what beating a Dark Souls boss must feel like because I've never done that.
Yeah.
And like just going on like random hunts with random people, and like my friend Luke and I played that game together, and like there was just always something to do, and it was so fun, and like it made me a fan of Monster Hunter, and like I'm so excited. I almost picked up the Monster Hunter game for Switch until someone said it wasn't that good, and I was like, okay. But like, I'm really probably gonna dive back into it more when the expansion comes out next year, Iceborne. Like, it's a beautiful game as well. Like the visuals are so nice, and like the kind of like different environments and like biomes they send you to are really beautiful. Like towards the end of the game, you get to go to this place called the Elder Recess, where all the Elder Dragons hang out, and like it goes from being like this like crystallized mountain to like lava overflowing, and like it's just this like really cool transition. um and just yeah, like that game is so pretty. The monster designs are top notch, like so many cool armor pieces you can make from the monsters. uh I mean, I think me playing it 300 hours says a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's quite a bit of time. But yeah, I loved Monster Hunter World so much this year. uh Definitely like made me a Monster Hunter fan for life, and I'm really glad I got to play it. So yeah, that's my number 3 is Monster Hunter World.
Nice.
Yeah. What is your number 2?
All right, Cody, I am so excited to talk to you about my number 2. It's Tetris Effect. And I have recently become so obsessed with Tetris Effect, like you wouldn't even believe. And I've been holding it in because at first I didn't want to tell you because I was going to get you Tetris Effect for Christmas, and I was afraid if I told you too much about it and my excitement, you'd get excited and you'd go buy it for yourself. So I was like, okay, I gotta wait. And by then it was so close, I'm like, I should just wait until our Game of the Year podcast to like tell you what kind of maniac I have become about Tetris Effect. Because you know how I kind of get obsessed about a game. Maybe like a Resogun. Yeah. So I'm there, Cody. I'm so there about this game. Now, you know I love the music in Tetris Effect. I've talked about how cool it is, how, you know, moving your pieces, the integration with all of that adds to it. Like as you're playing, you're becoming part of the song, and it's so cool. So I've just like had these songs in my head like constantly. And I'd be at work and I'm like, I just need to listen to it, you know? So I would pull up a YouTube and find a playthrough of it and just like listen to it. But it's kind of like, it's hard to do that because a lot of the YouTube videos, if it's like a full playthrough, it has commercials in the middle of it. And you don't want the beauty of the Tetris Effect soundtrack getting interrupted by commercials. So then I did find one that was a playthrough without commercials, but whoever was playing did a pretty good job, but sometimes they would have to repeat a level a few times, and that kind of interrupts your flow also. Although I have to say, they messed up on some of the levels that I really like, so I did get to hear the same song that I liked a lot over and over. But I was like, okay, this is okay, but this isn't a solution. So I decided what I needed to do was, I'm just going to make my own playthrough. I'm going to record it. I'm going to put it as an MP3 on my phone, and then I'm just going to have it. And then I can listen to it whenever I want, okay? So I was like, this is fine. This is great. I went through one evening, and I played it all the way through. I got it. I was like, this is great. I'm so excited. I went to go edit it, and I realized that because I'd been playing with my headphones on to get the best experience, it was also picking up my microphone at the same time, which I wasn't thinking about. So you can hear my controller clicking, you can hear me sighing. Occasionally, I'm sure at some point you hear me talking to Aloy, so I was like, well, this is a disaster. I cannot use any of this footage, unfortunately. And I was pissed because I was excited. I was going to have my song to listen to at work the very next day. Now I'm like, well, this is not going to happen. But I wasn't too upset because it meant that I had to play through all the way again, which I love, and I'm happy about that. Yes, Cody.
Did you ever stop and think about buying the soundtrack?
I don't think they have the soundtrack available. Like, they had the soundtrack sampler.
Okay, all right.
I don't believe there was an actual full soundtrack, or I would have bought it. I'm pretty sure I looked for it, and they did not have it. Okay. So... And let me also state for the record, once you play through the campaign, there is an option to just let the songs play on their own. And I could have just let it play and recorded that. But the thing is, like, you want those little notes that happen as you're turning pieces, as you're dropping pieces. Like, the thing that personalizes it and makes you be like, yeah, I remember when I was playing this game and I was doing stuff and I was making this part of the song. So I played it through my second time. Without the headphones this time, got it, good to go, no problem. I'm like, all right, this is fine. I'm so happy since I've done that, Cody. I usually listen to it twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. My soundtrack is about an hour and 23 minutes. And it's so relaxing for me. Like, when I'm getting really stressed at work or if I'm angry about something, I'll go ahead and I'll listen to it, and it helps calm me down. And I'm like, this is incredible. So I've been doing that. I just have to share this real quick. Last night I was playing some random levels, right? And I was playing the Stratosphere level, which is the next to last level, okay? And it starts and I'm like, what the hell is this song? Like, I swear to God, I've never heard this song before. And so I'm like, popped out my soundtrack to listen to it. I'm like, that's not the same song. And so I Googled it. Cody, Tetris Effect for their Stratosphere level. It has 3 different songs that it can be, and it depends on the time of the day which song you get when you play the level. Isn't that crazy? It's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
It's so cool. So apparently the 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. song, it's not my favorite. I feel like it's probably a really good song. It's this really like gentle acoustic guitar string sounding thing, which is really pretty, but it's not what I'm used to. And so I was like, it's all right. I played the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. song is the song with vocals, and it's really upbeat, and I love that song. I'm like, yeah, this is the song I like. But then I was like, wait a minute, let me check my soundtrack. And my soundtrack has the 3rd song, which is neither of those songs. And it's just like an instrumental, but it's upbeat and kind of okay. But I'm like, man, now that I know that I'm missing the song with the vocals, I feel like I'm going to need to redo my soundtrack. Because, like, I need that song in it. Although I might put, like, all 3 songs in a row, just so I have all of them. But yeah, so basically I'm obsessed with that. Cody, so you remember when I first started playing Tetris Effect, and I got so angry because it sped up the speed level for me, and I was like, no, I wanted this slow, relaxing thing. I found out about zone mode, which kind of freezes stuff, lets you work through it. It's fine. And I powered through and I got past it. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this now. I'm fine with this. And I beat the game on normal, on beginner. And let me just say here, like, the ending credits for this for this game are so great. They're very short for credits, and they have music that plays through it. And the very end is kind of a return to the first song that you hear, and you kind of hear it in a different, like, quieter with piano kind of way, and it's just so moving. And like, still every time that I play that last level and the credits roll, and also when I listen to my soundtrack, like, I get choked up because it's like these lyrics talk about your journey and like how you're becoming the person that you always were but never dreamed, and just like powering through this, and it's just so moving. So it gets me every time I hear it. But yeah, like I just wanted like a calm, fun time with my Tetris, and I was like, yeah, this is great. But for some reason I was like, you know what, let me just try it on normal and see what this is like. So I started playing on normal, and I was like, you know, this is okay. Things are speeding up quite a bit in areas, but like I'm powering through, I'm getting through it. So for a while there, like I had been up to the very last level on normal, and like that was like the one thing that I hadn't beat. And I was like, you know, I feel like I would love to beat this, but like if I never do, I think it's fine, you know? I'm happy with the journey that I've gone through on Tetris, and this is okay. And then like I got the idea that I wanted to do like a little video project about Tetris Effect because I love it so much. And thinking about what I wanted to do, I was like, man, I think I would really like to have footage of someone playing on expert, you know, just like maybe compare it with footage of someone playing on beginner. But I'm like, well, I don't know, like Paul from the Optional podcast, he's an expert at Tetris. Like maybe I could ask him to give me some footage. But then also like he's a video editor, and I'm like, if my video like isn't up to par for like what I want it to accomplish, like I don't want him to like see that and be like, oh, you did a shitty video with my footage. So I was like, well, let me just try some expert and just see what it's like, Cody. So I started playing on expert. Okay? Never would have thought it would happen. Yeah. The first level was all right. I got through it. I was like, oh, okay. That was crazy. I got through the first level on expert, man. So then like the second level, I was like, okay, this is really tough. It's like really speeding up now. Took me quite a few tries to get through that, but I got through it. And I was like, man, who would have thought I could get through levels on expert? And then like Cody, I kind of kept going. I've been playing through some levels on expert. On Christmas Eve, I was playing some Tetris, and I got about halfway through the campaign on expert. And I'm just like, what is even happening? Like, who am I right now? Man, like, it goes so fast. Like, it's not even, once you get up to a certain speed level, it's not even really dropping anymore. It just appears, and you have to be like pushing the buttons to rotate or move it before you even see it, or else it's just gonna freeze there. But like if you start before that, you've got some leeway to move it around. So I've been playing it. I'm like, okay, all right. So then I was like, you know what? Now that I've played this much on expert, I'm gonna go back and try that final level on normal and see if I can do it. So on Christmas Day, I went through and I did it, and I got through it, and I completed the final level on normal, and I was just like, I was so excited. So I posted it in the Discord because I was just like too excited to contain myself. I'm like, I can't not do this. So I was really excited about that. And then like since then, I've just been playing some more on expert, and Cody, it's tough, but like, It still does the thing where, like, it'll go up and down in the speed, so it's not constantly always at a super high speed. And, like, you know, when I first started playing on beginner, I'd get to, like, speed level 10, and I'd be like, this is, like, the worst thing in the history of the world. Now, I get to 10 and I'm like, oh god, I get to have a breather. Thank you. Let's stick at 10 for a while. Cause like once you get up to like 15, I say like between 15 and 18, I guess there's a difference in the speed, but it's going so fast that I can't even tell. Like it's just, you're screwed once it gets to that high. Turns out once you hit level 20 speed, it's even worse. Like I was feeling like there's just a problem with my controller. I'm like, this controller isn't talking fast enough. Like I might need to just like plug into the system to wire it to save me that millisecond of time to get stuff done. But yeah, so I've been playing last night, Cody. I've reached the final level on expert. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like so excited. I'm so proud of myself. Like before last week when I was talking about Resogun and like how all I wanted was to be good at Resogun, like right now all I want is to be good at Tetris. And I say good loosely because good to me is just passing a level. You get a grade for each level and like I get D's and E's. Those are the worst grades you can get. Like you should get like an A and then an S.
That's all that matters.
Well, I'm getting through it, and that's all that matters to me, and I'm having a great time, and it's just like such a moving experience to come into something and never have expected that I had it in me to do this, and to see myself grow is just incredible. And I've had a couple people, friends and family, that I've been like, here, come play Tetris, come see this, and like they'll start off, and like I'll see them, and like, you know, it's pretty rough when they first start because like who knows when the last time they played Tetris was. But within like a couple of levels I see them and like I can see them improving like already just from just like the short amount of time that they played. And so it's really cool just to be able to see that improvement that goes into it. Hold on, I made notes to make sure I didn't want to miss anything. Oh yeah, so just in general, I know I've talked for forever about Tetris Effect, and I'm so sorry. Hopefully I'll be done soon. But, like, I can't not talk about it. My mind can't fathom the intricacies that went into making this game and making the songs work in a certain way so that if someone beats a level in 2 minutes and someone else beats a level in 6 minutes, like, they still get a good song flowing smoothly through all of that. Also just like the way that they were able to integrate the little sound effects, the little notes that happen to make it an interactive experience. Like, it's amazing. I don't know. Like, it's magic to me. So that's fantastic. And I don't think there's anything as satisfying as when you're beating a level, when you get your final line that you need for it, and then the music just kind of has this crescendo that comes up into the boom when you finish, and like hearing that boom is always just like, yeah, it's so deep and it's like, yeah, it gets you. That's
what she said.
That was a good one. Oh man. Let's see. Oh yeah, so, and also just like the really great experience when you're playing through something and you're so focused in it and like you can't pay attention to what's like how far you are, and so like you suddenly hit that last level and like you didn't know you were close to ending yet and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. It's just like, I don't know, it's such a great experience. Also the joy you feel when you're going through a fast patch and then it like slows back down. Oh my god, Cody's going to sleep because he's so bored right now about my Tetris talk.
Wake me up in 24 hours when you stop talking about Tetris Effect.
Okay, I will, but let me just say also, like, pretty much all I've been talking about is the campaign mode, which is incredible, but the effect modes are great too, and I recently started playing the mystery mode, where it does a bunch of different things, like, it'll turn the board upside down, or it'll give you, like, gigantic pieces, or there'll be, like, lines that have bombs in them that you have to explode, or that you have to clear the line before they explode, and that's been a fantastic tool, I think. I think doing that helped like train me to be a better Tetris player. So I think it's really cool that it's there. Let me just say, Kate Brady is the vocalist on the majority of the vocal tracks, and she's amazing. So you should. Well, she doesn't. She has like an EP out, but she doesn't have like a full album or anything other than Tetris. But her voice makes it magnificent. I don't know, man. It's a magical journey, and I am obsessed. I can't get enough of it, and I think everybody, if you have the slightest inkling of I like Tetris, you should play it. Or if you have a love for music in any way, you should play it because it's incredible. So, Cody, I know you've played a little bit of it, but obviously you don't share my obsession with it. But
it's a very gorgeous and beautiful sounding game, and I definitely am looking forward to hopping into more of it. It's very relaxing. Like when I played it during Extra Life, I was very like calm during it.
Yeah.
Except for when it got like really like tense, like drums beating, and I was like, oh god. But no, like I see why it's so high up on your list. It's a very good game. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well.
It's turn for my nap now.
I mean, we're just gonna remove that and done this.
Oh boy, Cowboy's here.
It's time to mosey on over to my number 2. Just kidding. My number 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know what else I can say about this game. I've talked so much good about it. It's going to be one of those games that sticks with me for the rest of my life because, like, Arthur Morgan is such a fucking incredible character, and, like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, like, this and my number 1 I've been thinking about a lot. Red Dead Redemption is about redemption, and Arthur's story of redemption is so fucking beautiful in so many ways. And like where his character ends up in it all at the end is so tragic, but like I said earlier, like there's a beauty in it because like he got his redemption. And I won't say anything past that. I think it's a game you really do have to experience. And like just I haven't even touched online. Eventually I will, but like I only did the tutorial, but like goddamn, that story and that campaign, like everything I did in that just made me like love the character more and more. And like Arthur he really became like one of my favorite characters of all time. Just amazing. And like the controls aren't the greatest. It's definitely outdated. Hopefully Rockstar learns this in the next game. But like visually, like there's so many moments when you like round a corner and you just look and like the fucking landscape is so beautiful. There's so many moments where you like climb to the top of the mountain and you just look across and like you see the valleys and the fields, and it's just like this looks so incredible. And just like so many cool things in that game, and like I said, I can't praise it enough. It's just a beautiful story. Like, and like I said, it's not a video game. It is an experience, and like it's so amazing. So that's why Red Dead Redemption 2 is my number 2, because of the incredible story that Rockstar did, and I'm so thankful that they did it.
Nice.
All right. It's time for the big one.
See, I was hoping you'd talk for longer, because like my throat's still kind of sore. I was hoping it would recover from all that talking. Okay, great. Because, I mean, shocker, we have the same number 1.
We have the same number 1. It is Fallout 76. Wait,
boo,
what?
Boo.
No.
No. No.
What? Jerry's coming at me with a bat.
Jerry,
our number 1.
Jerry. No.
Our number 1 is God of War.
Yeah.
No shocker. Like, we love this game so much. We talked about it earlier. Yeah, like as someone who loved the original God of War games, to take a character and do a complete 180 and like turn him from this rage-filled like man bro pretty much and turn him into a dad and have him like a fish out of water pretty much, because like he's in a foreign area and he's not used to having to care for another individual like this. It's such a interesting story dynamic, and like the story that unfolds because of it between him and Atreus, and like the kind of mirror between other characters in the game who also have a parent and sibling relationship, and how like it's not a mirror, but it's like this is what it could have been had Kratos not learned how to be a better parent, is really interesting. And like we've talked so much about this game, how like the combat feels amazing, and like that first moment when you get that execution, you just like rip a monster in half, and you're just like yes. This first giant boss battles, how like they kept the boss battles where like you fight that giant dragon, like you just like rip its jaw off pretty much, and like it just feels so good. And then like the small moments, like when Kratos is talking to his son and just like trying to teach him a lesson, and then like have that counteracted by like the like lightheartedness of Mimir, and like he's just telling a funny story, and like how there's always a story to be told while you're rowing around the boat, and like these side missions where you help these ghosts who like want to like be free but they can't because something happened to them, and just like how the story builds and it builds and it builds, and like the ultimate payoff of it all is so amazing, and like you really feel for Kratos and Atreus, and like just like how you were talking about earlier. All right, we're gonna do a small little bit of spoiler stuff. So like when Kratos at the end is like telling Atreus how he picked a name and how it was for this soldier from back when he was in the war in the army, and like how no matter what, Atreus always like was like ready and smiling and like ready to do whatever he needed to do, and like it was just so beautiful, and like really like kind of like was like just that perfectness of it.
Well, and I went back and watched that scene before the podcast just to refresh my memory, and Kratos was saying that Atreus reminded his fellow soldiers of their humanity and goodness, and he inspired hope in them. And so after he died defending his fellow soldiers, his memory was a comfort in dark times. And so just knowing that he named his son that, and that he wanted him to be that, and because like the whole game, Atreus is, you know, feeling like he's not good enough for his dad. He's not living up to what he wants to be because he's not like Kratos. And like then you get to the end and you're like, oh, Kratos, you know, never wanted that for him. He wanted him to be the inspiration for hope. He wanted him to be the goodness and the happiness in the world. And so it's just like, oh my God, It gets you.
And so yeah, there's just so many elements of this game that like make it a perfect game. Like the visuals, the music, the gameplay, the story, like the characters. Like every character is fascinating. Mm-hmm. Like even the World Serpent, who doesn't really talk to you. Like it's just
World Serpent is amazing, and like the way that you are, or I guess is it Mimir who blows the actual horn to communicate with him? Like, oh my God, that blew me away when that first happened. And then later, like you go inside the World Serpent and do stuff, and it's just like it's crazy. I feel like this game just like it's an epic. Like, everything about it is fantastic. The story it tells, but also just the way that it was made. The way it has no cuts. The visuals are amazing. The combat feels so great. And things unlock at just the right time, I would say. Like, you think you're like, oh, I'm about to, you know, max this out. I got it all under control. I know what I'm doing. And then it's like, oh, here's this also. And then you're like, oh, I have to learn a whole other way to do stuff. And like the enemies that they throw at you, like you have different types of things, like different weapons to use against them to have different effects. I almost lost my shit the first time I was fighting, like, I don't know, is it like a troll or an ogre, one of the really big guys, and he just, like, grabbed a smaller enemy and threw him at me, and I was like, what is happening? This is so cool, like, I've never had that happen before. And then, like, you can go climb on top of that troll or ogre and, like, kind of control it and make it punch other enemies, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, I never would have thought that you could do that in a combat situation. Like you've talked about before, the boss fights are amazing. Like, I am not one who generally likes boss fights, but I had a blast with this. Talking about fighting that dragon, I was like, why couldn't Monster Hunter World feel like the fight with this dragon? Because this is amazing. There's a part where, like, I think you jump up in the dragon's mouth and, like, rip off its tooth or something while you're fighting it. Am I misremembering that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
It was so cool. It really makes you feel like you have the power of a god as you're playing. And I feel like there are no like wasted NPCs in this game. Like, every character that you come across is important, and like you get part of their personality, you get part of their story. I feel like they're all so well done. There's no one that's just like a throwaway.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because, like, after every, like, say when you're going and you're going around the river and, like, or the lake,
Yeah.
and you help the spirits. After each one, like, Kratos turns to Atreus and is like, "This is a lesson to be learned." And you're like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, that makes those NPCs like matter because he's teaching Atreus. And, like, it's phenomenal. Like, it's the way they do it.
Also, one of the best parts is when you're going through the lake, someone's always trying to tell a story. So either Mimir will tell a story, which are usually really good and interesting, and like you learn about Norse mythology. But then Atreus tries to get Kratos to tell stories, and it's so funny. This is like some of the humor I was talking about before, because like he tells the worst stories, and like Atreus is like, that isn't even really a story. Those are just statements, and it's just so funny. Like, listening to him try to tell stories and like try to be the dad, you know. It's fantastic. Let's see.
There are so many moments that, like, just, as Sam hates when I say, give you the goosebumps.
They do.
There's a boat ride, and the entire boat ride, I was just like sitting there. I was like, "Ooh, yes, I'm so pumped for what's about to happen." And like, just like the kind of twist at the end, where you're just like, "Whoa, they went there! Oh my gosh!" And like, when you sit down and think that, like, this game almost didn't happen. This almost like was not a game, and like, it's like, oh my god, like, it's crazy because like how amazing it is. And like, it's just really cool to see the character of Kratos and like how they, like I said, they took this like angry, like rage-filled guy and like they've made him a caring and kind of like stoic father figure, and like it's really cool. And like, I'm excited to see where they bring him in the next game, and like so much cool stuff happens in this game, and like it's amazing. And like I said when we did our spoiler cast, like, this is not my game of the year. This is my favorite game of all time. Like, it is that damn good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's the best made game, best game of all time. I think like every single thing that you could look at for like what makes a good game, I think this checks those boxes. Oh, and also I forgot I was going to mention, you mentioned the music. The music is fantastic. It's by Bear McCreary, who did the soundtrack for Battlestar Galactica, and so like I've loved him ever since then. So to hear his edge on this music, it's just like, man, this is so good. Like I said, I was just watching a little bit of it, some clips from it before the podcast, and I was like, man, I really want to go back and play this game again. I had such a good time.
I keep thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I should do a new game plus.
Well, I was thinking about that, but I'm also like, man, but maybe I just want to start from scratch again. Like, I don't want to have all my powers. I don't want to have all my abilities. Like, I want to, do the slow build again.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just does such a good job of the emotions behind this. Because, I mean, that's what really gets you in a story, is like being able to emotionally connect and having feelings for these characters. And there's this part where he goes into a pillar of light and he sees some visions of his wife and hears things that Atreus said, and he just like can hear the hurt in his son's voice from him not living up to what a father should be, and just like feeling the pain from that. I was just like, God, it's so moving. And then the scene that happens right after that when he exits the Pillar of Light and, you know, he's left Atreus on his own while he was doing that. And there are dozens of dead bodies around. And obviously Atreus has had to defend himself during that time. And you're just like, whoa, what has just happened? And just knowing what this kid has had to deal with growing up with Kratos. And it's just so amazing. It's such a good game. I don't know.
Some would say it's the game of the year.
We would say it's the game of the year.
And so would our community.
And so would the Game Awards and many other outlets. People recognize that it stands out. So I don't know. And this is I almost spoiled this. I probably did spoil this like a couple weeks ago on the podcast. And I was talking about how it's fine. It was just like, when you see something and you have expectations for what it's going to be, and then it lives up to those expectations. Because like before this game even came out, just seeing trailers for it, I was like, I can tell like this is going to be a masterpiece and this is going to be game of the year. And it lived up to everything you could hope it would be. You'd mentioned how people who loved the game before, come to it and have it in a new way, but it's also perfectly welcoming to people who've never played a game before. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
we did it, Sam.
All right. That's
first ever game of the year for Geek Art Games.
That's a wrap. Pop the champagne, Jerry. Oh wait, no champagne. We've got some water. Yay!
Water.
That's great.
That was a meaty episode.
I know.
That's like almost 3 hours, probably.
Yeah. I don't know. It's long. But yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad we got to talk about it. I know that about half the episode was taken up with me talking about Tetris Effect, so thank you for indulging me there. So we hope you guys have enjoyed it. When we were getting ready, when I was doing my cramming for Game of the Year, we posted in Discord to see if anybody had any suggestions for something that we might have missed that we should definitely give a look to. Nobody responded to that one. They were like, you guys got it covered. You know your games. You're good to go. Don't worry about it. So, but if we missed something, if there's something that was a spectacular game for you, reach out to us and let us know. Because, we like trying new things. Even if we don't think it'll be something that we like, you never know. Could end up in our top 10 list. So, hey, There you go. You can email us at contact@geekartgames.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter at geekartgames. We stream at twitch.tv/geekartgames. And you can watch our videos at geekartgames.com/YouTube. We welcome you to our Discord at geekartgames.com/Discord, and you can buy a shirt at geekartgames.com/shirts. And we would love for you to give us a review on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use. Those are fantastic for us. And you can, oh geez, I forgot how to talk there. It's the lateness is kicking in now. You can find me on Twitter at SKSUVAK. Cody?
I'm at Comic Book Cody.
All right. Is there anything else you need to say, sir?
No, this is coming out the day before New Year's. We hope you all have a safe New Year's. And we hope 2019 is filled with video game awesomeness. And we hope you'll take the ride with us in 2019. So
yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening past year.
Definitely. We appreciate you, and we're all going to level up on January 1st. So great.
Nice. I like it.
All right. Cody, take it away.
We're just two geeks who heart games and wish you a happy new year. Do 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 do. Yeah.
You went high pitched on the and I was trying to catch up there. I was like, whoa, what are we doing?
No.
That was great.
Cannot do that voice. Should I also get a little formal? I debated wearing a suit jacket for this very occasion.
We could. This is just what I was wearing at work. We could just put it on to start with. Hold on, let me.
I don't think where my suit jacket is. Let me go look.
I've got one right here.
Oh, I'm not going that fancy.
You look good. I
Thanks.
like it. Are you gonna get like super hot?
No, I don't think so. It's actually kind of cold.
I can
in the
put a
house.
black one on. Let me switch to my black one. Match
Okay.
better. And I'm probably not gonna wear this tie. I just thought it'd be fun to put the tie on. I buy these button-up shirts in the little boys section, and they come with clip-on ties. So I just have a bunch of clip-on ties that I never use. But,
So wait, talk about. Can you just wear clothes from the little boys section?
yes, I'm so
You
small.
just there.
I just fit, yeah, and they're so cheap, so it's a really good deal.
Ah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So yeah.
All right.
We'll see how long this tie lasts. That'll be fine.
See, if I could tie a tie, this would be great.
Oh, I can tie a tie. I have some actual ties that I can also tie.
I don't know if you can make that out. But this is Space Invaders.
Nice!
I got this from a loot crate like forever ago. It's very short though. I don't think it would fit around my neck. From Black Tie Geek is what it's called.
Do you want me to go get a tie and we'll do a quick tie lesson?
No, I'm very good. I don't want to tie. I will get hot if a tie is around my neck because I'll get like claustrophobic.
Yeah, understandable.
All right.
Okay.
I
was actually recording that, so this could be our outro. You got dressed. It's
fine by me. You look really good in this fucking suit jacket. Like
you do. It's nice.
Fuck me.
I don't even know. I don't know what to do, Cody. Oh my god, what's the cat doing back there?
Oh shit! What the fuck?
She's looking in the mirror.
She's looking at herself.
Yeah, she's like, "Damn, I'm a fine-looking cat."
Oh.
She's really getting into it now.
She's like, "Oh, who's this? Who's this stranger in my home?"
This beautiful creature I've never
If
seen.
she starts attacking it, like this better be on camera.
It is recording right now. I don't know what she's doing.
Is that an air purifier or a coffee machine, by the way?
Who has a coffee machine by their bed?
Psychopaths? Not that I'm saying you are one, but...
Well, I'm not a psychopath. It is, in fact, a humidifier. So.
Okay. She's, like, poised to jump into that mirror. She's judging it. She's like, can I make it to the top of this mirror and rip it off the wall?
She's, like, super frisky today. I think it's because it's been so cold. Like, she's not getting enough exercise doing stuff. I don't know.
Yes, human. Believe I can't understand you, but really I can. I'm going to rip this mirror off the wall. Oh yes, I'm going to do it. In 3, 2, 4.
What are you doing if I said one? She fucking leaped.
That would be hilarious.
I am the cat whisperer.
I don't know what she's doing back there. She's just gonna...
That looks like she's cleaning herself.
No, she's like... I think she's like peeking down in the space between the wall and the thing. I don't know. She's probably gonna knock over that glass of water because, you know, cats. Oh, she went back to the mirror. She's really into it. Nope. Here we go. Oh, she's just gonna leave. Okay. That was fun.